Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami Fort Lauderdale presents The Neil Rogers Show. To talk to Neil, call 567-0560, toll free for Dade and Broward, or pound 560 on your cell phone. The opinions of Neil, his guests, callers, or anyone else on the show do not necessarily reflect those of WQAM, Beasley Reed Acquisitions, or the Beasley Broadcast Group. Now, Neil Rogers on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
This is the most disgusting program. I urge everyone to complain to this station.
All right.
Yeah.
Sitting at home watching Dwight Lauderdale, talking about how bums are stealing 95 guardrail, when suddenly, with a bulletin to dish up, onto the screen came his partner, Ann Bishop. She said, this just in to Eyewitness News. It's Governor Martinez and the Two Live crew. More details coming up at 5:30. He pulled them from the stores because they so dirty.
Oh, they're so dirty. Oh, they're so dirty. Oh, they're so dirty. They curse all the time. Oh, they're so dirty. So dirty. Oh, they're so dirty. They curse all the time.
Bob had heard the album, and he was appalled. He said, thank you, Janet Reno. I'm glad that you called. We've got to take a stand against this dirty rhyme. Besides, it's really close to election time. His Broward judge friend said, I will not fail ya. We'll censor any mention of genitalia. They're selling sex to kids going through puberty. The Two Live crew, yeah, they so dirty.
Oh, they're so dirty. Oh, they're so dirty. Oh, they're so dirty. They curse all the time. Oh, they're so dirty. So dirty. Oh, they're so dirty. They curse all the time.
He kicked rapper butts to show he had guts. Though most of the people said, this guy is a puss. He rid the land of that noise pollution, even though it went against the Constitution. And what did Luke do during all of this jive? Sold 10,000 more copies at $12.95. He bought a brand new Mercedes. It's really pretty, driving it to the bank, 'cause he's so dirty.
Oh, they're so dirty. Oh, they're so dirty. Oh, they're so dirty. They curse all the time. Oh, they're so dirty. So dirty. Oh, they're so dirty. They curse all the time.
All right. 10:03 at 560 WQAM. Happy Monday to you. Let's start right off the bat this week with a message from yours truly to the FCC. F you, okay? That's my message to the FCC. You're not fooling anybody. We realize that we do live in a police state, and now we not only have the word police, we got the humor police. The humor police. Your government has got the time. This is with all the tax money that we pay. Your government has got the time to have an agency where a bunch of old fuddy-duddies, a bunch of anal retentive old farts sit around listening to tapes of stuff, deciding, well, did he say rectum too many times, and was the tongue in her, and all this other stuff. And then when they finish it all up, by the way, like they did 10 years ago at IOD, they pass a message back to me saying, oh, our favorite one was Boys Want Sex in the Morning. We're going to fine you for playing it, but nevertheless, that was our favorite one. That was really great. Yeah, it was great. So anyway, we had this thing Friday that we were very confused about. And, of course, around here, well, you understand, our people are always a little confused. The last ones to know anything. But this R&R, which is the radio and records, and, of course, they have this crap sheet that they fax to all the radio stations that subscribe to them. They put this thing out, which we got Friday morning. FCC slaps WQAM Miami with $35,000 indecency fine. Well, this is the mole, not the moil, but the mole over at R&R, who's got that in at the FCC with somebody. Because before we were even notified, before anybody knew about it, this asshole at R&R had the information, which is very nice. That's always comforting to know that. But nevertheless, he still got it wrong because we weren't slapped with anything. What we were given was notice that maybe, possibly, alleged, et cetera, and so on. And when you look at the list, wait, we're not going to talk about it on the air because we don't want Greg running around going, searching for that hole in his head with his finger. But when you hear the things that we're supposedly going to get fined for that were played on this show a year ago, May of '98, you will just, I guarantee, pee in your pants. And it says the Beasley Broadcasting sports station has 30 days to appeal. And by the way, nice going for the local media. Completely blew this story. And we could use the publicity, by the way. Since I work for a company that doesn't believe in promotion of any kind, way, or shape, or form, we could use a little publicity here. Did any of the newspapers have anything about this at all?
No.
TV stations?
No.
Even Channel 10, I bet you, which hates me like poison. And anytime they can put anything on here that'll put me in a bad light, they put it on. Did they put anything on about this?
No.
Not that I know of. See, I think they all got sucked in there at the very end when Eric sent us that fax about WQAM in Naples and about how maybe it wasn't really a local story. The only reason that that was in there is because the Beasleys, the headquarters of this company, are over there in Naples. But nevertheless, it's not very exciting, and we're in. Oh, and I think we ought to tone the show down, don't you?
No.
I think we ought to be real polite.
No.
Huh? Stop doing all this disgusting stuff. Should we do that, huh?
No.
What do you say?
No.
Should we cave in?
No.
You can keep hocking a Chinik from now until the end of time. And like I've said before, you anal retentive assholes up there in Washington, you make it up as you go along. Always have, always will. And you give us purposely this vague and ambiguous and tenuous definition about sexual organs and activity and about excretory activity. Oh, don't play that. You know what? I think we're going to get fined $1,000 for each. Huh? Wow. Just start ringing it up, okay? Just start getting that cash register going, baby. Uh-oh. Wow. We're already in the hole. It's only early Monday. We've been on here for like 6.5 minutes, and we're already about 20 grand in the hole. Overgrown children in this police state of ours. But nevertheless, and you know how psychic I'm always telling you that I am? I wonder which day it was. Maybe somebody in the audience remembers what day it was. I was asking about Martin Negronsky, dead or alive. And I'm scouring through my paper this morning. Of course, I always look at the obituary section first. Oh, by the way, did I tell you who called my new doctor? Did I tell you that?
You told me off the air.
Didn't find his name in the obituaries today. Damn it. Every day I keep looking. Damn it. Yeah. Calls my new doctor. Was listening to this show, this fag show. Anyway, so I, Sun Sentinel obituaries. Martin Negronsky, TV veteran.
Boy.
84, he's dead. He died of congestive heart failure. He was 84. He's dead. Commentator created the Talking Heads format, still popular today. Martin Negronsky from Negronsky and Company. I bet you there aren't 5 people in this audience who remember Martin Negronsky. Even you don't know who the hell that was, which I'm amazed. I mean, a really ugly guy. Really ugly, but he talked like that. But he was a good guy. You know, he was one of our people, a real good liberal guy. Like I said, one of my people, a real good Jewish liberal guy. But nevertheless, it was a pretty interesting show. We used to have that, what was his name? James Kilpatrick, that right-wing, and then Carl Rowan. And then the guy in the wheelchair. And he had kind of like, and Hugh Sidey was on there too, that they dusted off the mothballs and brought back out again last week for Junior. And you know something? Here it is. It's Monday the 26th. It's a week and a half after the accident. Have they stopped?
No.
No. They can't stop. It's like a runaway freight train, this Junior stuff. John. They can't stop it. Every talking head show yesterday was on it again. They were all over it like stink on the FCC. Yeah. Oh, I got news for you. This FCC business, I find, I can't even find a word for it. It's almost amusing because it's so childish and so pathetic. Oh, but children might be listening. Yeah, children might be listening to what? Penis? Children ever hear of a penis, you think?
No.
Or a vagina?
No.
And, of course, we know that nobody in America heard of oral sex. Keep in mind, this is a year ago in May when the whole country was embroiled in Monica Gate. And where was he sticking a cigar? In which,
Rectum.
and all this other stuff. Which orifice was it going on in? Ken Starr comes out with the seediest report in the history of the U.S. government. And we're worried about a few blowjobs or something like that. Or whether we had the bleeps in the right place, which we did, by the way. But nevertheless. So typical. If you think that there's free speech in America, boy, you're living in a real dream world, in La La Land. 10 past 10 at 560 WQAM, your free speech station for the 90s.
Oh!
Notice the sports shows never get fined either. Have you ever noticed that?
All right.
Yeah. I think that's also in there. At 10 o'clock at night till 6 in the morning, and also on the sports shows. They can say those words.
No.
We're talking about Dade County and shit. Oh, I'm sorry.
Willie, are you still in the bathroom?
Yeah, Mom, I'll be right out.
Little Willie Stamper just found something amazing, and his life will never be the same.
God, he sure is in there an awful lot. Are you all right in there, Willie?
Oh, almost finished.
Coming soon to theaters everywhere. It's
Yes.
When I Found My Dad's Pornos.
Willie, where did all the Kleenex go? And what's this all over the floor? Were you eating in here again?
From depressed and awkward teen to the happiest guy in school, Willie Stamper has found heaven in his father's hope chest.
Oh, it's okay, Mom. You and Dad go out. I'll stay here and watch the house. I don't mind.
When I Found My Dad's Pornos, rated PG-13. All kids aged 13 must see this film.
All right.
10:15 at 560 WQAM. Satanic lyrics by Mexican singer cause devil of a ruckus. This is my favorite story of the year so far. At first, the 20-second introduction to the song Ya No, No More by Mexican pop rock bad girl Gloria Trevi seemed low and garbled like an album played in slow motion. Gonzalo Londoño, producer and editor for Radio Unica Network 1210 AM, was intrigued. He taped the song and played it backward. I want you to stop and think about this, okay? Stop and think about people who are playing songs backward again. I thought we were finished with that, all right, with the back masking. We're not finished. Huh?
No.
Yeah, there you go. In fact, let's do the show back. Let's play all the bits backward and see if the FCC can figure them out.
Oh!
Yeah, there you go. Let's say all the 7 words backward and see if we get fined backward.
Oh!
Oh, and by the way, if they ever do get those fines, if they ever do levy fines against the Beasleys, how long before you think they get the check? Yeah.
Only $50.
Wow. Anyway, getting back to this, he taped the song and played it backward on Wednesday's edition of Esta Tarde, a nationwide show based in Miami, and was surprised to hear Trevi and a man giving orders. Lo hiciste mal. You did it wrong. Por eso debes obedecer. That's what you have to obey. Tienen que obedecer, you must obey. Among Spanish-language media here and in Mexico, the discovery has touched off a firestorm in the media, with people calling the messages satanic.
Gloria Trevi's a hottie.
That's only added to the controversy over Trevi, who along with her manager Sergio Andrade has been accused in the Mexican court of kidnapping and corruption of minors in 2 cases involving teenagers. The parents of a teenage girl accused the couple of kidnapping their now 19-year-old daughter 3 years ago, saying they were going to help her in the music business. Another girl accused Andrade of rape and kidnapping and named Trevi as an accomplice. They got a fountain named after her, don't they, in Rome? Trevi and her manager are talking after disappearing from Mexico once the charges were filed earlier this year. The couple returned this week to the state of Morelos, but have yet to speak with authorities there or with reporters. How do you like that? Gonzalo Londoño on 1210 Radio Unica. He's playing crap backwards. You know what we got to do? We got to take that and see how it sounds backward. Can we do it now?
Roll, fire it off.
Okay. That was good.
I got that, do it one more time.
Okay, now we can play it backward. I hope you're listening, Gonzalo, because there's definitely a satanic message hidden in there. Is that it?
Well, I mean, I could loop it, but it won't loop backwards.
Lupus? Okay, by the way, here's a great Al Goldstein piece, even better than that tasteless Ben & Jerry's thing on John John. Here's a full-page ad in Screw Magazine, July 26th. What kind of man reads Screw? And here's a big, almost full-page picture of John Cardinal O'Connor.
Oh!
It says, after a hard day of upholding the outdated and illogical rules of the Catholic Church, there's nothing better than a man like Cardinal O'Connor likes doing than ravaging the rump of some defenseless choir boy. But like many decadent and sadistic corrupters of innocence, the cardinal occasionally likes to vary his tastes. After all, how many cute choir boys can a cardinal cornhole before he craves a change? It's at times like these that His Holiness scurries out of St. Pat's to pick up the latest copy of Screw Magazine.
Oh!
The perverted papist knows that the world's greatest newspaper is the place to turn to score the ass-reaming his guilty Catholic conscience tells him he needs. Whether from a dominatrix, a tranny, or gay hustler right out of a Tom of Finland drawing, Cardinal O'Connor knows that if they advertise in Screw, his prostate will get the mammoth message it so desperately needs and rightly deserves. Cardinal O'Connor says, Screw always helps the right thing, helps me find the right thing to stick up my... Oh, yeah, we don't want to say that because
rectum.
They'll get upset about that, too. Nice going there, Al. Here's a call from Miami. Hello.
Neil, how you doing this morning?
Okay, sir.
Hey, you know what's ridiculous? They don't ban Woodstock from TV, where it's just giving the wrong messages to everybody listening to it. But they try to ban your radio show where it only makes people laugh and have a good time. Isn't that ridiculous?
Woodstock was giving people the wrong messages, like if you get pissed off about the water being too expensive, you don't burn the place down, is that it?
Yeah, like stuff like that, like
crap like that. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, I wonder why we had a call already. Hey, it's only Monday, Anyway, I'm going to tell you how we may be making a transition now. The most ridiculous front page in the history of so-called journalism, and I use the term very loosely, journalism, when it comes to either of our local papers here. Yesterday's Miami Herald, on the front page. This goes to show you what's really going down here, baby. Well, first, before we even get to the front page, on the very top, above the masthead, it says, Sunday, Tony Martin, money troubles of the Dolphins, sports 1C. Now we're starting to get a little warm, okay? But then it says the Herald, and underneath the Herald, here you go, here's a big-ass full-color picture of Liván. As in, do you think Liván's going to win any more games for the Marlins, Ed?
No.
For the Dolphins?
No.
For the Panthers?
No.
For anybody? Here. Time to go. Locker empty and goodbye said. Liván Hernández tries to make the most of his departure to pitch for the San Francisco Giants. And here's Dan LeBastard. Now is when baseball hurts the most. Marlins are rebuilding. They're rebuilding and rebuilding and rebuilding and rebuilding, and they get somebody that people like, and then they get rid of him, and we're going to rebuild some more. We're going to get some 12-year-old kids, some 10-year-old kids, some 8-year-old kids, because we're rebuilding. So, forget about the fact that this should be the last straw. This should be the incident that causes there to be no people in the ballpark from now on. None. Just the ushers, just the people, the concession people, and just the players and those who have to be there by law. Anybody else, no. Too bad they've taken off to the road now. They're at Philadelphia. Too bad that they don't have, because I see on a Sunday, they had 14,000 and some announced, and they've been winning a few games lately. That's a good step in the right direction, which means they probably really had about 7,000 or 8,000 people in there, if they were lucky. But the idea that this is a front-page story with a full-color picture, that tells you the kind of newspaper we got here in this town. Front page, Liván, tearful Liván traded. In a town where nobody cares about the Marlins, about baseball anymore, about Liván, about any of this stuff. Nobody cares. Don't confuse these people with the facts. If anybody cared, somebody would show up there, okay? Nobody cares. But let's build a stadium for John Henry. Oh! So he can get a 500-foot yacht. That's what I say. We don't want him losing no money. Now, this is the week, by the way, this Thursday. This is what we've been building up to, and I'm very, very, very depressed. Very depressed. Now, let's see. What about overall? Overall, oh, boy, it's pretty damn close. According to the Herald poll, this was on page 14A in yesterday's paper on the transit tax this Thursday, on the phantom tax. In June, it was 50 to 39% yes. But now, in July, in the poll they just took,
yes,
is 46% and
no,
is 45%, undecided 9%. And it's real interesting when you look at the demographic breakdown of how this poll came out. Now, you would expect Hispanics to be in favor because the leader of this is Mayor Penis. Oh, can I say that on the air anymore?
No.
I'm sorry, Mayor Pinga. He's the leader of this. So as a result, there are a lot of people who vote along ethnic lines, no matter what it was, you know. If the proposal on the ballot on Thursday would be for all residents of Dade County to chop off their left foot, there still would be, you know, a lot of Hispanics say,
yes,
okay. Among white non-Hispanic people, us Anglos in Dade County, 53% in this latest July poll say,
no,
and only 41% say,
yes,
Among Cuban Americans in the latest poll, 47% say, and 42% say,
No.
which is still pretty close. Other Hispanics, meaning Brazilians and Mexicans and Ecuadorians and San Salvadorians and Colombians and Venezuelans and people of that ilk, and don't ask me why, 59% say, and only 39% say,
No.
what is that all about?
They're going to be the ones hardest hit.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Here's where it gets better. I've saved the best for last. Among dark-complected Dade County voters, blacks, 48% say
Yes.
and only 41% say
No.
Now, how many black people are going to be riding the MetroRail, okay? How many black folks in Dade County do we have who are really not financially challenged, who want to pay that extra 15.6% sales tax, that extra 1%? Maybe 10? How are you getting sucked in? How is it that somebody in the black community has done such a piss-poor job of educating the people there, the people who may come out and vote this Thursday, that this is going to be of no value to them whatsoever? It's only going to hit them again in the pocketbook where it hurts the most. Bunch of bullcrap. But you notice something, how they're setting us up for this? And Carl Hyacin, by the way, who about 3 times a year writes a column that makes sense. This is one of them yesterday, which I will read, by the way. It's great. Nice going, Carl. I'm sick and tired of reading about your alligators and your damn manatees, but once in a great while, this guy actually says something. In the Herald, no less. Transit plan hides money pit, says Carl Hyacin. But you notice how they're setting this thing up again for real, just like the first one. 46 to 45, oh, it's nip and tuck. And then, of course, Thursday, late in the evening, somehow magically they'll come up with just enough votes from Homestead to put it over the top. Oh! Like they did last time with the Metro fail. Am I saying that they fix elections here in South Florida?
Yes.
That we have dishonest elections?
Yes.
That we have dead people who vote?
Yes.
That they rig it so that they can get whatever the hell they want?
Yes.
If they pull this snow job off on the people of this town, man, it's going to be one of the saddest things that will ever happen here. It's one thing to make the mistake the first time. And even though it's 20 years later, after you've seen the history, after you've seen the billion-dollar boondoggle and the failure, and revealed, by the way, by the same people that are encouraging you to vote for this again, to trust the same people like Merritt Steerheim that put it over on you in the first place. And there are people that stupid that are going to go out and vote yes on Thursday? Anybody? Oh, my God. We need a stupid test in this town.
You're a bastard. Do you or your family suffer from things? The makers of Zyfam want you to know about a miracle drug that helps you deal with the symptoms of various things. Zyfam, winner of the Department of Health's prestigious Longest List of Side Effects Award for 2 years running. Zyfam. Talk to your doctor today. Some swelling of the brain, impotence, enlargement of various glands and ducts, hemorrhoids, Y2K hysteria, temptations, and plagues of locusts have been associated with the use of Zyfam. Other possible side effects include blindness, dizziness, loss of weight, loss of color, loss of keys, straightening of the hair, aversion to swing music, zombieism, night sweats, talking like Roger Ebert, itchy organs, exploding head, and the gout. Some patients have reported blurred vision, drooling, talking Australian, saying the phrase good to go, knocked knees, broken bones, lumpy eyebrow makeup, high cholesterol, low esteem, wet, hacking coughs, dry heaves, soft, doughy midsections, clock watching, and raccoonism. A more significant number of Zyfam users have reported occasional bouts of chest pain, random loss of limbs, trouser tinting, greasy forehead, twisting of the truth, spinal straightening, toeing the line, headaches, muscle aches, claude achenism, gas guzzling, incessant staring, and barking. Get your complete list of side effects at our website at www.zyfamsideeffectsareyoukittingme?.org. Zyfam. Keep away from cats, dogs, snakes, children, the young at heart, and goats. Zyfam. Medicine for today's things.
Yeah, we need to get a bunch of that stuff so we can toe the line. Oh! Here's a lady in Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you doing?
Okay.
Check this out. My husband works in a grocery store dealing with the public, and he had one of his clients come up to him yesterday and told him that he was authorized to give any voter $30 for voting yes to the tax on Thursday. I was outraged.
Only $50.
So this is what's going to happen on Thursday. And in closing, Alex Pinella sucks.
All right. Thank you, sweetheart. Now, of course, we have no way of verifying that. I want to make sure you understand that. It's just an anonymous call out there, but she sounded pretty reasonable to me, didn't she? Didn't she sound reasonable? Yeah. I don't want to say that they buy votes in Dade County or that they're desperate to try to put this over. Let me read Carl Hyacин's column, okay? It's a little lengthy, but it's one of the great columns ever written in the history of mankind at this particular time anyway, especially in a horseball paper like the Herald. He says, before you ride, drive, or walk to the polls July 29th, remember a few things about the transportation plan that Miami-Dade Mayor Alex Penis is so exuberantly promoting. First and foremost, it's a MetroRail tax. A penny will be added to every dollar you spend at the store, and the bulk of that extra tax will go toward new elevated train tracks, estimated cost as much as $100 million per mile. That's not a typo, $100 million per mile. The barnstorming mayor doesn't dwell on the MetroRail part of his plan due to the fact that MetroRail is an ongoing flop. No politician wants to be seen as throwing good money after bad, especially the public's money. So Pinellas is wisely focusing attention on the less whimsical aspect of his proposal, expanding bus services, yanking out toll booths on 4 expressways, freeing up more funds for needy causes. These are good things that will bring out eager voters. The issue of MetroRail will bring them out too, though mostly on the opposing side. It's not that people hate the idea of trains. What people hate is waste and inefficiency and insurmountable debt, the trademarks of MetroRail and many mass transit projects. History teaches several unhappy lessons. 1, it will cost billions more to build MetroRail than they say. 2, it will take years longer to complete than they say. 3, far fewer commuters will ever ride it than they predict. And 4, somebody will make a fortune off the construction. Oh! That's one reason Pinellas was able to quickly raise more than $1 million in private funds to help sell his plan on TV. For some companies, MetroRail won't be just another project. It'll be a lifetime stipend. The money will never dry up. That's the beauty of a sales tax. It's like a giant straw that just keeps on sucking. But the mayor says, come on, people, trust us. Don't worry about incompetence, mismanagement, or corruption. Not in Miami-Dade government.
That was funny.
Right. These are the same bright bulbs who once paid $2 per foot for 97 miles of road striping that was never done. Nobody even bothered to drive out and check. The non-work was part of a juicy $58 million package awarded by the county commission to Church and Tower, a construction firm headed by the late political bully Jorge Mascanosa. How do you like that?
Oh, my God.
Gee, you don't suppose Church and Tower might get a piece of the new MetroRail action, it says. If not, it's only because they're outmuscled by other companies with craftier lobbyists. Correctly perceiving a trace of cynicism among scandal-weary voters, Pinellas has proposed a citizens' oversight board to keep an eye on each penny collected and paid out for the new transit tax. It would be a grand thing if that actually worked. It would be even grander if the new rail links were finished on time and under budget, and if commuters in droves abandoned their gas guzzlers for the train, and if MetroRail actually wound up breaking even. Such a thing has never happened in the annals of modern U.S. transportation. It won't happen here either. By the time the final chapter of the MetroRail saga is written, Mayor Penis will be a Congressman Pinellas or Governor Penis or more likely Grandpa Penis, and if few will recall his role in the penny tax, he might choose not to recall it himself. If the transit tax passes, hope for the best. Hope for new buses and less traffic congestion. Hope for new trains that run on time and actually go where you need to go. Hope that every new highway has stripes down the middle. In other words, hope for a miracle. That's what Carl Hyacin says right there in the Herald yesterday. Oh! Nice going, Carl. And he didn't even mention alligators or manatees once, which is unusual for him. There you go. Lays it out pretty good. And by the way, I hope you realize that even though the four tolls that they're taking down, in a couple of years there's going to be a whole bunch more new tolls anyway. So they're playing games with you. They're giving you like a short-term release and a long-term real pain in the wallet and on a highway. And I look at these poll results here in July, and even though it is coming much more better, it seems to be in just 1 month to go from 50 to 39 yes to 46, 45. It looks very much like the real people, the rational people, are starting to come back and say, wait a minute, this is a pile of crap. We already got $1 billion boondoggle up there. Why should we spend billions more for a pie in the sky that nobody wants to ride anyway? This Thursday, and it would appear once again that in Dade County the minorities, as usual, have the upper hand in this. How many non-ethnic Anglos have we got left in Dade County? 7? 7 people? All 7 of you need to go out and vote 100 times. And how about that call from that woman we just had? There's a real eye-opener, okay?
Only $50.
You think people might get paid off to go out there and vote yes this Thursday? You think it might be? Because I'm telling you, as sure as I'm sitting in this chair, that the first MetroRail freaking election 20 years ago was fixed. They'll never convince me that the outcome of that election was accurate. That thing, I watched the election returns all evening long. It's losing. It's close, but it's losing. And then, like in the wee hours of the morning, all these votes from Homestead just came in. They put it over the top. It passed.
Oh!
Yeah. Anybody believe it?
No.
No. In addition to which, you do understand that even if this thing goes through, even if it passes, there's no guarantee of a dime of federal money. You do understand that, don't you? That there are all these other markets, because the federal dollars there have just dried up. There's not that much left. And all these other markets, major markets, just dying for a piece. So there isn't a guarantee that there will be 1 penny of federal money to help build anything in Dade County. Pie in the sky, an election in the middle of July. Thursday, July 29th. Do we ever have elections on a Thursday?
No.
Do we ever have elections in July, in
No.
the summertime?
No.
And all this bullcrap about, well, they better do it now because otherwise in the fall when the government, hands out the money, we definitely lose out. Does anybody really believe that in their right mind?
No.
No. He always flip-flopping. He was against it in the first place. Now he does a complete turnaround. Just like he was against Mickey Harrison's big arena. And then all of a sudden after they elected him, oh, well, guess what? We made a great deal. He's going to build it after all. Just a liar, liar. Your pants are on fire. And you can hit us with your alleged FCC fines, with all your other bullcrap, and run around town telling everybody what a nasty guy and a pervert and this and that. The fact is that at least there's one voice here in this town 20 years later who's been around here long enough to see the bullcrap and the conning of the public and the overtaxing of the public. And if you black people out there are stupid enough to go there and vote yes and give Mayor Penis your vote, then you get what you deserve. Just one time, get some chutzpah, baby. Grow up here. Very simple word. Even you can say it.
No.
There you go. N. Oh! We can all spell it.
Yes, I'm a malcontent Julio who floated into town. And when I read the Herald, I just can't put it down. Since all the gringos moved away, they ought to try to get the El Miami Herald to change its name instead to Miami Pandora. Miami Pandora.
Yes.
It makes my tongue roll and roll and roll and roll. And it's perfect for a town where there's no life to be found outside of what we do the best, like robbing ATMs and shooting tourists in the head. Federal haters to the arrogant and hostile Julio. It's Camudista, this and that, that's all you need to know. I read it when I get a case of black bean squirt, and then I wipe my ass on my Guayabera shirt. The Miami Pandora, Miami Pandora. It makes my tongue roll and roll and roll. The Miami Pandora, Miami Pandora. It makes my tongue roll and roll and roll and roll and roll. We're a world-class city, aren't we? Yes, according to Channel 4 anyway. Wow, 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 wow.
1046 at 560 WQAM. It says, depending on the turnout, Hispanics and black voters could combine to pass the tax since they outnumber white non-Hispanic voters. Turnout during summer elections is generally light, but this issue has attracted wide attention. Undecided voters, the poll shows, could swing the vote. Of the county's more than 830,000 registered voters, 42.3% are Hispanic, 20.4% are black, and 34.2% are white non-Hispanic. A little more than a turd. How do you like that?
You turd.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There's a little bit of hope there. And maybe some of our Julio friends will come around and see the light. Even though, in fact, maybe his name isn't Mayor Penis after all. Maybe his name is Smith, as in Larry. 5670560, pound 560. I'll tell you what, $40 for a...
No.
How do you like that? We'll outdo those bastards. $30 for a vote and
no.
40. 50. We'll go $50. The Beasleys will pay for it. How do you like that? Right, of course, you might have to wait a while for the cash. It's in the form of a check. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello?
Hello, Nick.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great.
I want to talk to you about Europe. You know how you're always saying
$100 for a no vote.
No.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
You know, you always say Europe is great. I just got back a couple days ago.
Yes.
For 2 months. I loved it. I had a great time. A problem I did encounter, though, is the customer service there sucks. The people don't want to work hard. You ask them a question on the menu, what is this?
Where was this?
I was in Spain for the majority of the
well,
trip.
Spain sucks.
I was in Portugal for a while, and I went to England for a bit.
No! You weren't in Europe. I thought you were in Europe, you said.
Oh, that is Europe.
You were on the periphery of Europe.
Whatever. Well, I was in Europe. It was my first time there.
Yeah.
And I went, and I was I was somewhat disappointed. I was a lot disappointed, actually, with the customer service. It wasn't there. They got pissed off, and I speak Spanish, and they still I don't think they like Americans.
Well, let me ask you something. Why would somebody who lives here, where do you live?
I went on a study abroad program. I'm in law school here, and I went on a study abroad program, and I got 6 credits, and we were in Spain for about 5 weeks.
Oh.
No, actually 6 weeks. I went to Portugal for a week, to Lisbon.
You haven't been in Europe, man. You're, like I said, on the edges. You need to go, to the Scandinavian countries, and to Holland, and to Italy, and to Switzerland, and to Germany, if I dare say that. You need to go to the real countries in Europe. You were, on the edges of it, looking...
Have you ever... Hello?
I'm here.
Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, have you ever been to Spain?
Yes.
It wasn't bad. I had a great time, but...
Now, whereabouts? Where were you in Spain?
I went all over.
Did you go to Madrid?
Yeah, I just got back. Madrid was the last city we were at.
It was what?
Madrid was the last city I was at, and then Barcelona, and on the southern coast.
Uh-huh.
And then we went to, I told you, went to Portugal, and I went to Gibraltar for a little bit.
I thought Madrid sucked, to be honest with you.
I didn't like Madrid either. I like Barcelona a lot better.
Never been there.
And the southern coast just reminds me a lot of down here is the beach and the same crap that's out here.
But forgetting about the service, I mean, you can go anywhere and find something to bitch about. But what about the people? Weren't the people friendly?
The people were cool. The people were real nice. I had no problem with the people. But I'm just everywhere I went where you paid for a service, kind of a service need, a hotel. They just threw. I mean, they were just. They didn't want to be there. They didn't want to work. It was funny because I sent out a couple of postcards and. With a buddy of mine, and we were like, there's 2 people in front of us in line.
Well, let me ask you this. Who do you think were the ancestors of the Mexicans?
The Spaniards.
There you go.
Well, the Spaniards are the ancestors of every Latin.
Lazy, didn't want to work, right?
I mean,
not that I want to start any stereotype about our Mexican friends.
No, I'm not stereotyping, but it's the way their society functions. It's not.
Spanish Indians.
They have no incentive to work hard.
Who invented chocolate, by the way? The Mexicans. Are you aware of that? The Aztecs invented chocolate.
Oh!
So you see, they're not all bad. Well, listen, I'm glad you had a great time, pal. And next time you go back, go to some real countries, believe me.
All right.
They'll treat you great.
Cool.
See ya. There's a guy who was in Europe and says it was pretty good except the service sucked, but that's because he was in Madrid. That's what Isabella said, that, Have you ever been to Spain? 567-0560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. See, you with this Indian thing, man. You're always picking on the Indians. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with the Indians? They like to gamble. They like to plunge their brains out. We like the American Indians. I mean, the least we can do is go and give them our money.
The American Indians, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice people.
Iroquois.
Mm-hmm. Blackfoot and Cherokee.
Right. And, well, there must be a whole bunch of other Indians. Come on, let's
the Seminoles, the Miccosukees.
Martin Nebraska's dead, by the way.
Oh,
In case you missed the beginning of the show, I'm very depressed about that. Anybody in this audience know who that was?
No.
No. You know something? Sometimes it's not so bad to be an old fart. Because then look at all the stuff that you know, and everybody else goes, like that. You say, aha, there's something I know that they don't. Here's Kendall. Hello.
Hey, Neil?
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great.
Just want to let you know, even with all your shtick luck and everything, you and Carl Hyacin and I are the only people who know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, that's 3 of us. That's the start of a revolution right there.
That's right. Doesn't take much. The Miami Herald fails to tell everybody. They keep talking about taxes. Well, you're going to spend a penny on your purchases. What they fail to let the low-income people know that sales tax is going to affect their telephone bills, their water, their gas, their electric, everything that they pay utilities on is going to go up. The landlord, most of these leases these people have clauses that as soon as he gets a tax increase, they can pass it on to them. So they think they're just going to go to the store, it's only a penny.
And it's going to be bad for the economy of Dade County because everybody is going to go to Broward. People are going to make any kind of a major purchase, they're going to go to Broward. So people who are in business are going to less and less shop in Dade County. Just overall, it's going to be an economic blow to Dade County.
And the mayor keeps saying the tourists are going to pay 1/3. I have yet to have a tourist pay 1/3 of my phone, my gas, my water, or electric bill. So what could give me the tourist that pays me the 1/3.
Next time you buy a car in Dade County, you think a tourist is going to come in and pay that extra 1%?
Not at all. The other thing, the 2 other points, the Herald fails to mention, and they gave Steerheim a big column. Steerheim told us the same garbage 25 years ago. He stood there and made the same faces and the same promises. Don't these people remember? This is the same person who told you these lies 25 years ago.
Right.
And he's up there doing it now. Then we had the Steerheim-Dyer show. Now we got the Dog and Pony show with Steerheim and Pinellas.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same garbage.
How do you like that woman that called with that story about $30 for a yes vote?
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt it.
That's how desperate they are.
And then the other thing, the last thing people don't realize, the Miami-Dade Expressway Authority, a group of 12 people who are not elected, who are passing taxes on without any care of the public. Do you think this tax is going to get rid of them? It only gets them bigger. They can pass, like you said, once we pass this tax, if we pass it, okay, and we get rid of the toll plazas, 6 months from now, they can put a toll plaza up anywhere they want.
Right.
We don't abolish these idiots. We had the Boston Tea Party to get rid of taxation without representation. We ought to have the Miami Toll Party and get rid of the taxing authority, which is the Expressway Authority. This tax doesn't even get rid of these people.
Amen.
They're still there, and they're going to be there. And like you said, they're going to come back with new tolls. And if you read the Herald, they're giving the same lies. The only paper I've read today is giving the truth, and it's a big if the feds fund it, is the Sun Sentinel.
Yep.
They're telling the truth.
Penny Gamble may not bring transit jackpot. I got it right here.
That's right.
Yep.
So where are these people living?
Okay, pal. Vote early and often.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Up to $100, okay, for $150. 567-0560, pound 560 on a Mobile One line. Only 3 days away. Boy, we're coming down to the deadline. I can't wait for Thursday. That's how excited I am. I don't even live in Dade County. I think I'm going to vote 20 or 30 times just to show them a thing or two. Just make up some names. Here's Miami Beach. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I don't claim to know a lot about politics, but it would seem to me that if the first time they said, if they made a promise the first time they said, oh, it's going to work out, and it's obvious that the MetroRail is a flop, then why would they vote yes? I'm like I said, I don't know a lot about politics. It seems kind of obvious to me,
Yeah, it would seem obvious. I would think that the poll would be about 80 to 20% against if the people in this town had got any brains. But you got to understand, it's a very transient town, and how many people who are here right now were here 20 years ago? Most people weren't here.
Has it been 20 years since that last vote?
That's right.
20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, you're right. You got a lot of people moving to Broward, but still, doesn't word spread? Don't people? Well,
and don't forget, a lot of people can use $30.
Yeah, definitely, Neil. Hey, and Neil, another thing.
Yes, sir.
How come this town? None of the girls put out nothing. Nothing. It's no good around here.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I got to say, I guess.
Got to come out. Maybe that $30 might be a good start.
$30 for these chicks?
Vote 2 or 3 times, man. It might work out for you.
Only $50.
Yeah. How about if they do that? How about they bring in some hookers from out of town, and then they can get all the guys to go out and vote yes, huh? They might do it. Or at least they promise to vote yes, and then they go in there and a few times. Yeah, that's it. Tell them you'll take the $30 and then go in there and vote no anyway. That's a hell of a good idea. Oh, they're going to be looking over your shoulder? Is that the deal?
Uh-huh.
567, or they're going to punch it up for you. 567-0560, pound 560 on the Mobile One line. We never had a fixed election in this town, did we?
Yes.
No. We never had dead people vote. They're just sitting there waiting to put the squeeze on again and to pull the wool over your eyes and make a lot of money for those big construction companies, for all these greedy bastards. They're the only ones that are going to gain from this. The only ones. And, of course, Merritt Steerheim, he gains because, naturally, he continues to run his little empire. And Mayor Pinga, he gains because it's another feather in his political cap, so he can move on to be like Carl Hyson says, whatever, Governor Corleone, Senator Corleone, Vice President Corleone, whatever it is he thinks he's going to be someday. We already know what he is now.
He's an asshole.
Exactly.
Feeling sexy? Feeling kinky? Feeling old? Then come into Fredericks of Hollywood, Florida. Retirement haven to the elderly. So you wear a plastic hair bonnet when it's sunny out and a fur coat during the summer. Big deal. That doesn't mean you can't don some crotchless panties and a barbed wire bra tonight.
What, honey, look at these rubber panties. You'd look great in these.
No, Grandma, check out this G-string and see-through halter top combination. Wow.
Oh, that is nice, dear. I can see myself really getting into that little number. Can't you?
Bring the husband, bring your family, bring your bed nurse, and come into Fredericks of Hollywood, Florida. Look for one in the retirement community near you.
Oi! Minute after 11 at 560 WQAM. Jim Mad Dog mandates for Hank today at 2 o'clock from Shula Steak 2. 6 o'clock, we got the Talking Baseball with Donnie Baseball. And at 6:30, we got the pregame. The Marlins at the Phillies. Big E tonight at 7:05. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Kendall. Hello.
Neil, good morning.
Yes, sir.
First of all, thanks for all the entertainment and focusing attention on things of importance here, on everything. Have you touched on, I know you're talking about this 1% sales tax increase for the MetroRail.
Yes, sir.
Have you touched on the article in today's Miami Herald about the tax break for elderly homeowners and how it connects with this tax?
No.
Okay, on the first page, do you have the Herald?
Yes, I do.
You see where it says tax would fund 90 new miles?
Wait a minute. One moment, please. Where's that Herald? Where the hell is it? Here it is. Got it. Yeah.
Okay, and then right across from it, it says new tax break aimed at elderly homeowners.
Not on my paper, it doesn't. I got the Broward edition.
Oh, I
don't know where. On the front page of the front section?
Yeah, on the very,
No.
on the first section.
Broward edition is different.
Okay, in the date edition, it says right across from that, it says new tax break aimed at elderly homeowners. I'll cut to the chase. On page 3, the article follows up. What they want to do is they want to have an exemption for senior citizens in Dade. And it says that the total revenue loss would be over $5 million a year. And it says, and I quote, the county would reimburse cities for at least a portion of their loss under Pinellas' penny sales tax plan up for voter approval on Thursday, but city officials are still concerned. This money is going to have to be made up somewhere. Typically, that means a decrease in service or an increase in the tax rate for everyone else. So, this man lied to us right off the bat because a vote for Pinellas I thought was a vote against the arena.
Right.
That turned out to be not true.
Right.
And now nobody seems to talk about that. Here's this tax that's being added on to, for MetroRail, which is worthless. I mean, anyway, nobody's going to use it.
Right.
And they don't say anything about that. Oh, guess what? There's going to be extra monies, and we're going to give a tax break to all these other people.
Well, the only people they tell about that are the old farts that they run around the condos pandering to them, telling them about they're going to get a tax break and how they better go out and vote yes. See, they basically put enough plums in here for everybody. There's something for old people. There's something for the bus riders. There's something for everybody to try to con the public into this unbelievable boondoggle so we can make the same mistake again.
Right. Let me ask you one last thing. In your edition, does it have a map of where MetroRail, where this new 90 miles is going to go?
I don't see it.
It's on page 4 in the date edition.
Don't see it.
Anyway, so there's 90 new miles and 7 new lines. The major renovations for this thing is going to go from the port of Miami to the airport.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's going to go up to Pro Player.
No God in the Broward edition.
You don't have it?
No.
It's really amazing. Is there any talk about, either Wayne or the Dolphins or the cruise line contributing any money for this expansion, or is this entirely going to fall on the taxpayers?
Wayne?
Yeah, for Pro Player. I mean, it's going to be used for the games.
Oh, you mean the MetroRail?
Right.
You think that Wayne is going to pay money for this? Oh, yeah, right.
Or how about Mickey?
Just like Wayne paid to build that access road there off the Sawgrass, didn't he?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay, pal. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Wayne's going to pay for it. By the way, we were at Ruth's Chris Thursday. I mentioned that on Friday's show. And as much as I enjoy that place, and by the way, thanks for the free meal. As much as I love that place, it's great. The drive over there, if you live anywhere except in Fort Lauderdale, it's impossible. The drive from West Broward, it took me 45 minutes. Now, I grant you it was like 6 o'clock in the afternoon, but I'm going to tell you, it was just unbelievable. And the idea of a stadium somewhere, anywhere in downtown Fort Lauderdale, even assuming that we had enough people who cared or that we had a team that anybody deserved to pay to go see, a stadium in downtown. And as soon as they come up with these cockamamie things, you get all these commissioners jumping on a bandwagon and some of the people on the radio, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. How do you get there? Is there any way to get there? No. It's ridiculous. On the face of it, it's ludicrous. Anybody ever tried driving east of 441 in Oakland? On Sunrise? On Broward? On Commercial? No matter what time of the day, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever the hell it is, you just want to blow your brains out. It's hopeless. Talk about congestion. Fort Lauderdale is like virtual gridlock. But we're going to have a stadium downtown. Hear it for John Henry and his 6,000-foot yacht. Here's Boca. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Every time I'm down here, it's such a pleasure to listen to one of South Florida's gems, and I appreciate it every time. And, there's so many rip-off Bob Squirt radio guys like Jim Phillips in Orlando.
Yeah, we had about 2 weeks ago, we had a whole bunch of people calling in here giving me a song and a dance about Jim Phillips, and then the real calls started coming in saying that he sucks.
Yeah,
he's a wannabe.
He's a wannabe, and he can't hold a candle to you.
I got news for you, sir. There are so few talented talk people in this country that if Jim Phillips really had serious talent, he wouldn't be sitting in Orlando all these years.
I know, that's true, because Orlando's a bum town. But it's guys like you, Phil Hendry, Steve Dahl, and a few others that are legends.
Amen.
Hey, finally, I see what you're saying, and I agree with most of what you're saying, if not everything, about this stupid MetroRail thing. But keep in mind that transit systems in just about every city lose money, and it's more of a public service thing. But this sounds like a complete boondoggle down here, the MetroRail, because that's nothing like the one in New York.
Sir, let me tell you something. There are certain cities, like Los Angeles, for example, and Miami, because of the geographical lay of the land, because they're so big and spread out, there's no, central area, like a downtown, that anybody really wants to go to unless they work there, which they already got that on the MetroRail. Mass transit here is a joke. It's an impossibility. It's not the answer.
It's too spread out. You're right. Hey, keep up the good work.
Okay, thanks a lot.
See you.
Thanks for the suck job. Oh, I can't say that. Can I say that?
No.
No, can't say that. I want to get the FCC, the Federal Censorship Commission, all upset again. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. And by the way, before the week is out, we'll find out who filed the complaint. And we will tell you about that on the air, by the way. We will tell you. That's going to be real interesting to find that out. Here's a mobile in the Gables. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Neil, one thing is that I don't know if I can say this, but I went to school with Merritt Steerheim's daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say this, but like her dad, money-grubbing slut. The other thing was, that guy who called up a little while ago about Spain.
Yeah.
Was that the no fags in the church boy?
No.
Sounded like him.
No, it wasn't. Have a great day, pal. Get your ears. Get a little waxy build-up in there, I think. 567-0560. Lots of openings here on the board. 567-0560. Pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. You can tell these people are really pissed up and fired off.
No.
Aren't they? No. Aren't they fired off? 9 minutes after. We got some other news on there besides John? Oh,
yes.
Thank God. They got Bill Humper back on there, and they're talking about some missing plane in Colombia, which that's unfortunate, of course, but at least it's some different piece of news story than that John stuff. I mean, get over it already, will you? Please, please. Please, I'm begging you, crazy people in the media. He's still dead.
Want a lollipop, little boy?
In theaters now, from the director of Leave It to Beaver and the producer of The Spy Who Shagged Me. It's The Spy Who Shagged Beaver.
Do I make you horny?
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Do I make you horny, baby? Yeah, do I?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Oh, really, baby?
Shall we shag now or shall we shag later? I've still got the breakfast dishes and everything to do.
The Spy Who Shagged Beaver.
Did you ever have anything yanked out of you?
Oh, behave.
When your dad sees this, it's back to the coaster wagon for you.
Yeah, baby.
11:14 at 560 WQAM. The Scum Sentinel this morning says Penny Gamble may not bring transit jackpot. Just a couple of short paragraphs, okay, to put some things in better perspective. It says if Miami-Dade County voters decide this Thursday they want to pay a penny more per dollar in sales tax to underwrite public transit, they would get more buses, but no guarantee that new MetroRail lines will be built. They would see tolls on 4 major roads disappear, but watch new toll booths pop up on other roads and poop up. They would invest in a sweeping mass transit plan to curb congestion. One transportation experts and even supporters say may not put a big dent in Miami-Dade's growing gridlock. And like Carl Hyacin says, estimated cost of that extra train track, that extra MetroRail, $100 million a mile. Let's hear it.
Oh!
What a bargain, huh? Tim Fosselman in Miami faxes me this letter he sent to the editor of the Herald, which he doubts will make it in there. He says, legislated gridlock. You didn't need a crystal ball back in June 96 to predict that we'd be unable to meet the challenge brought on by expanded development within the county. By passing the ordinance amending the 1993 5-cent capital improvements local option gas tax, the county commission guaranteed the worsening of present roadways and reduction in planned improvements. In what I see as a false grand gesture, the county commission reduced the then 5-cent gas tax by 2 cents. We are now asked to exchange a 1-cent increase in the sales tax rate for the discarded 2 cents a gallon gas tax. Had the county commission acted in proper fashion in 1996, we might not have some of the problems generated by 3 years of lost revenue. I've always felt the best way to generate tax revenue in support of transit is to tax transit sources. The obvious revenue source is the local option gas tax. The parent of a school child needing to purchase yet more school supplies in November shouldn't be subjected to an additional sales tax. I call upon those planning on voting on Thursday, July 29th to vote
no,
says Tim. Only this will force the county commission to consider better options to provide reliable and safe transit throughout the county. Just vote
no.
Is what Tim says and what anybody with a brain will tell you. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Oh, Dr. Mark. What happened to Dr. Mark?
I didn't make him wait.
Hello? Dr. Mark, you'll have to call back. Bad phone. Maybe his phone thing ran out. What happened to my good close personal friend, Dr. Mark? 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Maybe that's him again right now. Should I wait? Maybe Dr. Mark would like to hear the results of my blood test that I had last Thursday. Here's Miami. Hello. What is going on with the phone now all of a sudden? Miami. Okay, great. Let's try West Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay.
Hey, I agree with you 100%. This whole tax thing sucks. You know, the ones that they should be taking the money out of are those fat bastards like Rick Sanchez and...
Okay, great. Let's talk to some adults here all of a sudden. What just happened here on my phone there? What just happened that all my calls just got farted off of the phone, huh? I'm starting to get a little bit paranoid about what's going on here right now. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. What are you giving me for? Like that's a big...
That's Dr. Mark.
Oh, it's Dr. Mark. Well, like I said.
I had a choice. It was either the phone or my car, so I chose my car. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Anyway, I left a message at your residence. I've been in and out of class all week, and I have another week to go.
Yeah.
So I was willing I'm in West Broward all day. I was willing to even make a meeting somewhere or a house call or whatever.
You're way behind the times. I had my blood done on Thursday.
I heard that just now. I'm happy. I knew you're a man of great patience, and I knew you'd wait for me, sir.
No, I'm not a man of great patience. My cholesterol was 209.
Excellent.
After 3 months of not taking the Pravachol, my triglycerides were 110, and I'm still waiting for my homocysteine, which will take, as you know, another few days.
Yeah, well, you're doing what you can about it. You know that.
Right.
Anyway,
and I'm off the glycation. I'm out of the glucophage, which seems to be working very well for me.
Very good. I'm happy. I'm using my vacation time to further my education.
Right.
I'm taking classes out in West Broward at one of the hospitals out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I also wanted to call and vow that if there we are. Yes, we're headed out towards University Drive. Anyway, I wanted to vow that anything that costs more than $100, I will drive to Broward for if the tax passes.
Right.
Your show has always been influential, and I think that the polls going in the other direction show that your position is going to be the one that wins. I think our position, I'll say, if it costs more than $100, raises my tax more than $1, I will easily drive to Broward. In fact, when this thing passes, it's going to increase the congestion on the roads because everybody's going to be driving to Broward.
Right.
That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, Mark.
I'll leave my fax number with George later on, and if you want to send that over to me, I'll be happy to take a look at it.
Okay, hang on. Okay, tell him I don't have it yet, but when I get the actual printout, I'll send it over. Okay, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. If you joined us in this hour, if you missed the first hour, it's right there on page 14A in the Broward edition. See, when I'm talking about the Herald, evidently there's so much difference between the two county editions. Maybe they figure they can't get away with as much propaganda in the Broward edition. I don't know. But on 14A in yesterday's Broward Herald, they got the poll results from the Herald and Channel 6 poll of 600 voters who said that they were certain to vote this Thursday in the election. And according to this poll, it's nip and tuck. It is nose to nose. Whereas last month in June, it was 50 to 39% in favor. Now it's 46-45% in favor and dropping fast. And, of course, keep in mind, back in June, nobody had spent one dime to oppose it. But now, as they're starting to see both sides of the story, more and more people are saying,
no.
White non-Hispanics, us Anglos, we're the ones who better turn out in big numbers. If I lived in Dade County, I'd vote 75 times, even for free, on Thursday, just to say
no.
over and over again.
No.
Blacks, pretty close, but very depressing. 48% say yes and 41% say no. Why do blacks in Dade County want higher sales tax? Does that make any sense to anybody with a brain?
No.
Somebody on those stations, somebody on Jams there, Mandich keeps talking, he's listening to 99 Jams. They better interrupt the rap crap for not long enough time to get somebody on there to wake these bastards up, okay, and tell them just say
no
to another boondoggle. And then, of course, we got that Hispanic problem because it's Mayor Pinga's tax. So naturally, we got a little bit of a problem there, a big problem. Although even there, the numbers are getting closer and closer, and more of the Julios are saying
no.
Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil, how you doing, my friend?
Okay, sir.
Neil, one thing is, nobody has noticed how Mayor Pinellas, or Pingas, as you would say, how he's promising a piece of the pie to anybody and everybody.
Everybody's in on the action on this
and
deal.
the thing is, there's not enough pie to go around.
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, I just want to say to your listeners, remember the half penny that we voted for Jackson? And now Jackson Memorial Hospital is in fiscal trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, they did an audit on them, and I mean, there's gross mismanagement.
And it's pretty hard to have a pie to divvy up among anybody when you got a losing project, when you're losing tons and tons of cash, and then, of course, the taxpayers have to wind up subsidizing it.
Of course, like always.
Yeah.
See you later, sir.
Okay,
Take
sir.
it easy.
Vote early and often, pal. Just say
no.
Like Nancy Reagan even would say in her stupid little red dress.
No.
Keep saying it, Nancy. Just say
no
to the bureaucrats, to the bullcrap artists. You know, this Pinellas, he's as slippery as grease, I'll tell you that. I mean, talk about smooth and slick and slippery. He must be dipped in olive oil or something. Dipped in crap. There he comes along, makes a big song to dance. He gets elected. He's going to oppose. He's not going to sit back and let Mickey Harrison run Dade County. He's not going to let one dime of taxpayer money. And then Mickey comes along and, oh, yeah, I'll put up the money to build it. But then, of course, the county will have to subsidize and run it forever and ever and ever. And Mayor Pinga says, oh, yeah, I got a great deal for you guys. This is after he already got elected based on saying no. Then he says yes. He was the one that was against increasing the sales tax, and all of a sudden now it's a great deal for everybody, and now the one he's pushing it like he's got a hernia. And like Carl Hyacin says, long after the taxpayers in Dade County are stuck here having to pay the increased sales tax and having to suffer the fallout from yet another boondoggle, he'll be long gone. Long gone. With his political career in one hand and God only knows in the other hand. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Your show is good as always. I live in Broward, thank God, but I'm just listening to this for the past 4 weeks. Did I hear you say $100 million per mile?
That is absolutely correct, sir.
Oh, my God, because I was thinking, how many Metro-Dade buses can we build for $100 million, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Also, why?
How much more highway could we build for $100 million?
Oh, my God, yeah, you could replace
And I know people don't like highways, but you know something? It's a driving area. It's all of South Florida. It's a driving place. People use their automobiles because that's the lay of the land. That's just the way it is.
That was my second point. Number one, I mean, how many people actually use the transit system, MetroRail? Not many. Most people drive.
Right.
So what good is this crap going to do anyway? Most people want to drive their own car. It's just a rip-off. And then why don't they increase the MetroRail prices to drive the rail to support the new system that they want to build instead of trying to build the taxpayers that don't even use it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, they're famous for that here, taxing people for things that they'll never use, just like they want the taxpayers to build a new baseball stadium, a new play toy for this billionaire John Henry, and 99% of us will never go there.
Yep, you got it. And you know what? And one other thing, real quick, I'm going to let you go. I don't see how this thing can pass because I know a lot of the voters are out of town, and you keep stressing that, but how can they pass the tax that, you know, they're not going to get the votes for? You know what I'm saying? There's too many people that will not use the transit system, so I don't think they'd vote for it.
But now you're talking logically, and it's just like back 20 years ago when they passed it the first time. Logic would tell you that nobody in Homestead, which is so many miles from anywhere the MetroRail went then or will go now, nobody there would have any reason to be willing to pay extra taxes to build a road, a train system that goes to nowhere. And yet, supposedly, late at night, all the votes that put it over the top came in from way down there in Cutler Ridge and Homestead and down there where the MetroRail doesn't go.
Yeah, well, they probably used 1,000 alias names for one person. I think that's how they got that passed.
Okay, pal.
Thanks, Guy.
Just say no. 5670560. I mean, you know, if you like going to Shorty's for ribs, I guess it's fine. Or if you want to shop at Dayland, or if you want to go downtown, you work downtown. Anybody short of that, forget it. Hate to break the news to you, Mayor Penis, but there are these amazing things with four wheels and a steering wheel and an engine. They're called automobiles, and whether you like it or not, I know there's pollution involved and a lot of mess. You got to build more roads. And by the way, keep in mind, like it says in a Scum Sentinel where they tell it like it is, 4 toll booths going to disappear if this thing passes, and as many as 11 more are going to pop up on roads all over in a very short time. The mayor doesn't tell you about that. All they do is do everything in their power to spring that 25-cent increase on those 4 roads at a time when nobody really knew about it, and cause as much congestion and take all the pictures of it. And, of course, the local news media very willingly, as usual, goes right along, willing co-conspirators, putting all the pictures of all the frustrated drivers on. Oh, my God. And you know something? Now that they've had a couple of weeks of time pass and people know that the 50-cent toll is on there, do we see any more of that crap? No. It doesn't take any longer to pay 50 cents than it takes to pay a quarter. Yeah. How about that, huh? Yeah. Wow, figure that out. Sit down with your calculator and figure that out with your abacus.
Holy Mackinac! This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hey! You're listening to the Hockey Authority, Neil God.
And now it's time for language lesson of the day.
Repeat after me. Mi papá estaba en el baño, o está posible, algo está muerto ahí, which means my father must have been in the bathroom. Either that or something died in there.
Hasta la bamba.
Hey, this is kind of interesting. It says, I remember when I attended Miami Senior High back in 1988, we used to have people running for mayor and commissioner of Miami come in and visit us every time. The funny thing I can remember is they would pay clubs money for helping them advertise and also for their vote. $25 might not seem to be too much, because when I was 18 years old, it would pay for some good times. How do you like that? They were paying them for their vote. They were 18, old enough to go vote. And they were paying them
only $50.
Whatever it was. Well, 25, you know, with inflation. P.S. Smoke 2 bong hits for me, but wait 5 minutes after my fax so I could run downstairs and hear it. Oh, play it. I thought he meant to do it. Oh, we can't do that because then the FCC will really be here, Enrique. We're smoking weed on the air, by the way. Oh! We want everybody to know we're smoking marijuana on the radio, okay, here on 560 WQAM. Right now. Joe is smoking it, George is smoking it, and I got a goddamn big bong going right here, okay, right off to my left. Big one. There you go. Yeah, we're doing it. Crazy people, the Federal Censorship Commission, like I said before, a bunch of anal retentive assholes, got nothing better to do with our tax money that we're paying so they can decide what's naughty and what's nice and what you can say and what's funny and what's not. Crazy people. Here's a Mobile and Davy. Hello. Mobile and Davy.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Morning, Neil. How are you?
Great.
Listen, Neil, I was involved in the marketing of the original MetroRail.
Yeah.
And we had a real hard problem because we couldn't figure out how to market it because it didn't go anywhere. So we decided we'd give away free seats on it for the first week.
Mm-hmm.
First day it was over, 19 seats were cut with knives. Brand new trains.
All right.
All right. Did they do a good job or not?
Yeah, that's great.
Anyway, Neil, I thought you'd like to hear about that.
Well, what do you expect? People that can't afford to ride it, at least they can chop it up a little bit and deface it.
It was amazing. It was amazing. All right, very good, Neil. Thank you.
Thanks for the good news. 567, just say
no.
On Thursday, okay? Not too many people here, so if you're one of them, just go out there. If you're registered to vote in Dade County, just go out and say
no.
20 or 30 or 40 times. We just checked. It's up to $250 a vote. For every no vote, we'll pay you $300. The Beasleys will take care of it. Here's Miami. Hello. Miami.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, Neil. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I was still laughing with the sound of your bong on the radio. That's great.
Yeah. Only it's not a joke. We want everybody at the FCC to know that we're smoking marijuana right here on the air, okay?
That's
in fact,
wonderful.
when they see the white smoke signals come out of the top of the building, you'll know that Neil's been elected as the new pope.
Well, I was going to make some serious commentary.
Go right ahead, please.
On this transit issue and respond to a couple of things that I heard you say.
And since we are located in Dade County, we want Mayor Pinga to know that we're breaking the law right here in Dade County. We're smoking weed on the air, so you better send the Metro cops over here right now and bust us. Go ahead.
They're probably on their way.
I bet they are.
They're probably riding MetroRail to get there.
What they don't realize is they can lock me up. I live in Broward, so I can't vote anyway. Go ahead.
I was just curious as to, a couple things. One thing you indicated was that you need to build more highways, and in Dade County,
yes, sir,
with the spread and sprawl that there is here, that's very, very true, and it's very
and let me tell you something, sir. I hate to interrupt you, but back 20 years ago when they started with this MetroRail horseball, a lot of us were screaming then the myth of this Dixie Highway business. Dixie Highway is not a highway, as you know. All it is just a piece of crap road with stoplights every 2 blocks, and that's just so congested that you want to blow your brains out. That was what needed to be corrected, was that so-called South Dixie Highway, so that all of South Dade could have some breathing room, but they didn't do that. Instead, they built that the elevated train that nobody rides and doesn't go anywhere except to the front of the Herald building.
Well, that's unfortunate that that people don't use it, and of course they never built.
Well, they don't use it because it doesn't go where people want to go.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that I personally wouldn't be so quick to say that. They promised a feeder line to that MetroRail that would go all up and down in the different communities in the suburbs, both south and north.
Did it happen?
No.
No.
Well, they had one, the thing called CAT, Kendall Area something or other.
CAT, yeah.
That did, and that was about it. Where it was needed, where the people would have had the most usage. I don't like to be racist or anything, but in the lower income areas, they tend to use public transit more than others.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there's not one single mass transit or public transportation system in this country that is self-supporting. It just can't be, because people just don't like to pay for it. But anyhow, as to the extension of the highway system, how do you intend to finance that through Dade County? Because that's a joint venture of the state, the feds, and the county.
Yeah.
And they need a dedicated source. The state of Florida, because I've heard you rail about them also, is pretty miserly about building highway structures down here. All they seem to be doing is constantly widening I-95 and rebuilding the Palmetto.
Mm-hmm.
And up north, up in the north part of this state, they got some marvelous highways like I-10 that goes nowhere to nowhere.
Yeah.
And it gets to be silly. This is a big, huge urban area. I think there must be at least 2.5 million people here. Well, maybe not that many, but pretty damn close.
Where, in Dade County?
Yeah.
Over 2 million, yeah.
Yeah, so, and it's spread out like crazy, and you got to have some kind of an efficient transportation system, and you got to have some way to pay it.
Well, sir, let me say this to you. After the $100 boondoggle of 20 years ago, when Carl Hyacin says there's no guarantee that any of this extra rail, the MetroRail, is going to be built. There's no guarantees at all that'll even ever happen.
I understand that because.
So what's the point of the people of Dade County forking out an extra 1% sales tax on everything that they buy virtually?
If it was dedicated for highway improvement,
yeah,
you see,
but it's not.
Well,
just like the guy said in the facts before, if they would be using the local option gas tax for highway improvement, then you've got something.
But the commission took that away.
Yes.
That would, they were out there saving their.
Mm-hmm. So why isn't the mayor trying to bring it back?
Well, he was on the commission when he wanted. I couldn't answer that question if I had to. I'm not a politician. But
well, I think the best deal is just hang out in the corner and have a great day. Good luck to you, Tom.
Thanks.
See, that's why we're smoking the wicked stuff here today, because we're so depressed with all the corrupt politicians and people trying to buy votes for $30 a pop. Hey, we're willing to pay $420.
Only $50.
430 votes for a vote on Thursday. Just send the invoice to the Beasleys. Of course, you may not live long enough to collect it. How's that guy up in Bryn Mawr, New Jersey, by the way? Get it yet?
No.
How about George with that first appearance he did? Remember George's first appearance at Primeco was a little bit rusty? Did you get paid for that yet?
No.
What was it?
No.
Oh. 567-0560. Tom, well, of course, we don't have money to pay you for that stuff anymore with these fines we may be getting now, Which, by the way, nice job on the local media really covering that story. Excellent. But they got Liván on the front page of the Herald. Front page of the Herald, Liván is resigning tearfully. Are there more than 7 people who give a flying crap about that?
No.
No. Hey, there's a new show in town that opened this weekend at the Drama Center called Naked Boy Thinging. It's a must-see. A huge success in Los Angeles for more than a year and a half. It opened simultaneously off-Broadway in New York as well as South Florida to rave reviews. Naked voice singing is an outrageous new musical review revolving around male nudity. I don't think we can say that because the Federal Censorship Commission gets real upset about body parts.
Oh, Neil, my queen. God.
Listen to me. This is Stan Feinstein for Sofa King, you understand? Where everything is held to the high Sofa King standards. The selection isn't just huge, it's Sofa King huge. Believe me, you'll never shop anywhere else. And Sofa King's prices aren't just low, they're Sofa King low. You'll never find them anywhere else. Listen to me. When I say Sofa King is a beautiful store, I mean Sofa King beautiful. When I say the staff is helpful, I mean Sofa King helpful. Listen to me. Get to know the Sofa King and enjoy a selection that's Sofa King huge, a staff that's Sofa King courteous, and prices that are Sofa King low. You'll never shop anywhere else. But don't take it from me. Take it from satisfied customer Frank and Stein.
Sofa King, good.
You said it, Frankie. Sofa King, good.
It's 11:44 at 560 WQAM. Everybody says basically on Thursday, okay? Just keep that in mind because they're trying to, it would appear based on that one call we got, which we can't verify, but it sure wouldn't surprise me, especially in a corrupt place like Dade County, that maybe some people might try to have their votes bought. That would be a first, wouldn't it? Oh, yeah. And by the way, something great. I want to look on the positive side. Something sensational happened this weekend. The Reform Party just said to Ross Perot, they said, go away, you silly old man. Roll up your sleeves and go away and do all over the place, but get out of our face. Nice going, Jesse. I'm going to tell you right now that Jesse the Body Ventura on the Reform Party will run for president sometime in our lifetime, and I'm predicting he'll win.
Oh!
I think so. He'll get my vote. In fact, I would go vote 40 or 50 times for him. Because unlike Ross Perot, who turned the Reform Party into a bunch of simpletons who didn't say anything but a lot of glittering generality, roll up your sleeves and do, you know, all that crap that he was doing, this guy actually has got some ideas. In fact, Jesse the Body says he'll come over to your house and help you. Right. With that little problem you got there. By the way, we're smoking some bad weed here. I want everybody at the government to know about that. Bunch of assholes. Here's a mobile implantation. Hello.
Neil, how you doing?
Okay, sir.
I work in live and work in Miami.
I'm sorry.
I know, but listen to this number. I make a modest income, so if I'm looking at these numbers. If I spend $30,000 on taxable income,
yes, sir.
That means my taxes went up $300.
Mm-hmm.
And if I buy a car, which I plan to do, for a lousy $20,000,
right,
they're going to hit me with another $200 in sales tax on that.
Right.
So that means this next year my tax is going to go up $500.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're talking a penny sales tax, but my personal tax on a modest income is going up $500.
Right.
So let's see, if I get $1,000...
Of course, how many times would you have to go through those 4 toll booths in order to pay, or however many other toll booths they put in for that $500 at 50 cents a pop?
This is unbelievable. I'm looking at a $500 tax increase to save 25 cents a few times a year. This is unbelievable. If they market it that way, they'll never get a vote. They talk about one lousy penny. In the meantime, I'm looking at a $500 increase in expenses next year. These people are assholes.
Right. Just say no, please.
That's right.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Okay, we're going to get them out on Thursday, man. I'm going to tell you something. Even if I got walking pneumonia, I'm going to be here on Thursday encouraging, begging, pleading. We're up to $500 for a vote, for every vote no on Thursday, okay? Joe Costello says he'll take care of it personal. In fact, you know how we always send the guys out in the van? In the QAM van? What we're going to do is we're going to have Sam and Chris, Sam and the nephew, we're going to be out there Thursday handing out $100 bills to everybody who votes.
No.
Maybe 5 or 6 of those if you're lucky, okay? Because we got to counteract the corruption in Dade County. Those people that are handing out, offering $30 for a yes vote. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
yes, ma'am.
Good morning. I really enjoy your show, Neil.
Thank you.
But to give my 2 cents of opinion on the comment, to begin with, the mayor, he's a fraud. As you mentioned, he did state prior to election, no arena was going to be built. He didn't get the seat hot, and he...
That's right. His ass wasn't even warm on the seat before he said...
And he made a deal with the owners.
That's right.
2 years ago, I think it was, we voted to save our parents' home for Amendment 3. This was supposed to be to save our parents and for the elderly. That there'll be a cap on their taxes over the property. because they're on a fixed income. They don't get enough income to pay the taxes.
Yeah.
And now this gentleman that spoke earlier said that this penny tax is related to the elderly. I don't see how, because we voted for this amendment 2 years ago, and it never was put in place. And now they're probably saying it in the Miami Herald to get the elderly to vote again.
Right, there you go.
I mean, forget it. This guy, he's beyond belief.
Just say
no. No.
Okay, just practice for 2 days. Okay, now what was that about our lunch today, about our good friend Brad at Tony's?
Who loves us.
Yes.
And lunch is on its way and no problem
Yes,
whatsoever.
but
He wants to know, who is this JP guy who orders food on the weekends and then doesn't want to pay for it and talk
and
to
uses my name?
And I don't know what story he told the driver.
Yeah.
And Brad was very nice about it
Uh-huh.
and everything like that. But he wants to collect the bill from this JP guy who he doesn't know from
Adam.
Joe Costello.
Yeah. I know him.
Yeah. Apparently is Scorching Food thinks that he's on the free food list.
He is. He's on the free food list. He can get whatever he wants.
Yeah. Brad doesn't know.
When
that.
you look like that, you can get whatever you want. That's what I said.
Brad doesn't know from
I
him.
love him from his toes all the way to the top of his head. That's for you, sweetheart. No, I don't want to get involved in the middle of that. Don't go messing up our free lunches, JP. Plus, tell Brad he's going to be leaving in a couple of weeks, going back to Gainesville anyway. To
Brad
FU.
wants his money from this kid.
How much?
$20 or something like that.
I'll take care of it.
Okay.
All depending. Okay, here's a letter, by the way, from Jerry Growlick in Miami. You know, it's always a good idea to fax us something and cross out your last name when it's in the newspaper, because then it's a sure bet I'm going to use your name on here. Why would a guy send a letter to the editor of the Herald and then fax me a copy of it and cross out his last name? Because I got the Herald sitting right here, so naturally, being a real old wise guy like I am, I open up the Herald and it's a good letter. Jerry Growlick in Miami says, Mayor Alex Pinga is a clever political trickster and a typical tax and spend liberal. He campaigned against public financial participation in the American Airlines arena and then after his election reversed his decision. Now he's trying to deceive the voters with misleading language on the ballot regarding the 1% sales tax increase as well as the nature of the projects that will be financed. He'll get his tax increase because nowhere, and wait till you hear the line that Jerry uses, nowhere is the dumbing of America more prevalent than in Miami-Dade County. Jerry Growlick in Miami, who faxes me the same letter and crosses out his last name. Jerry, it's a great letter, but how could you be that stupid to think I'm not going to look in the paper? And then why would you have your name printed in the paper, but you don't want it on this show? You see what I'm saying? Does that make any sense to you?
No.
Great letter, Jerry Growlick. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. And we had one call. Oh, and by the way, did we get a call about Dimitri Tertishny yet? I bet you this hot sports station of ours here, I bet you we haven't even talked about that yet on our big hotshot sports station. Joe Costello sitting in there with his finger in his nose, wondering who the hell is that? Dimitri Tertishny, number 5 for the Philadelphia Flyers, 22-year-old defenseman who was killed in a tragic boating accident this weekend, fell overboard and the blade sliced his neck wide open, and they pulled him up on the boat and he just bled to death. Yeah. With his lovely young wife back there in Russia, probably in Siberia now. 22 years old, tremendous young player, he's dead. Did we get any coverage on that to speak of?
No.
John, they're still hocking away on John. Martin Agronsky, he entertained me in his dull, boring way with that Agronsky and Company show. I used to enjoy that. He used to be on Channel 10 for about 100 years. I used to watch that. There's some dull people on there, but nevertheless, they once in a while had something to say. Killed some time. He entertained me. He's dead. Not even one comment about that. But John, because his last name was Kennedy. I said to somebody in the airport yesterday in Toronto, I said, you know something, if it wouldn't have been Dimitri Tertishny, if it would have been Sheldon Kennedy, the abused hockey player, if it would have been him that got killed in the boating accident, it would have got a lot of publicity because his last name was Kennedy. And the guy said, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. And by the way, I have absolute confirmation about Terry Murray, the coach of the Panthers.
He's an asshole.
Absolute confirmation. The team hates him like poison. Just keep that in mind, okay? Because it's not that far down the road. We're going to be starting with that BS again. The BS being the Panther organization. Here's a mobile in Port St. Lucie. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I keep books for several companies up in St. Lucie and Martin County.
Uh-huh.
And a couple of them do deliveries in other counties that have higher tax rates. When they get their money from the company and then they fill out their coupon that goes to the state,
Yeah.
all we do is just itemize the total amount of money that came from a higher tax county. And that money gets sent to the state. And then the state takes it, puts it in a fund, and then divides it among the counties that have that higher rate. So there's no guarantee that Dade County is even going to get that penny.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how ridiculous the whole thing is.
Thanks for the good news.
Sorry.
Okay. 5670560. We got, look at this, 6,000 open lines here. We're 3 days away from this bitter election, from this another fraud in this town. Does anybody give a crap? No. Oh, there's Sam. He'll take care of it. By the way, don't forget, Sam's going to be out there on Election Day in a QAM van, handing out $500 to everybody who comes by who promises to vote.
No.
From his own bank account, too, by the way. Beasley's are too cheap. They won't pay for it. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Hi, Aaliyah. Hello. Hi, Aaliyah.
Yes, hello?
Yes.
Yes, Neil, I'm calling. I heard your comment, what you made about the black people voting.
Yes.
On the tax hike.
Mm-hmm.
I just would like to say, at first I was kind of angry because you used the word black, but then I had to turn around and I rethought about it. I just would like to urge all black people, the few that does live in Dade County, to go out and vote no, because you know what? They're not going to benefit from it no goddamn way.
Right. Well,
Thank
first
you
of
very
all,
much.
I use the word black because it says right here in the poll, it says white, non-Hispanic, black, Cuban American, and other Hispanics. That's the way it's determined here.
But I thought about it, and I'm urging. It's very few of us that does still live here in Dade County.
Right.
Please, I'm urging you, especially the young blacks, do not vote yes for that because we're not going to benefit from it. No way, no way. It always backfires on us.
Right. Vote early and often, sweetheart.
Thank you.
God bless you. There you go. There's the voice of black Dade County. Said no is what they said, Mayor. I hope you're listening, you and your stooges like Merritt Steerheim. I hope you're listening right now. You just wait. You got a real surprise coming. In fact, it's going to be so overwhelmingly no on Thursday that you won't be able to get enough dead people and dummy up enough phony votes to put it over the top like they did 20 years ago with the first one. 6,000 open lines on that board. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Oh, it looks like another Jordan night day, I'll tell you that.
Floating luggage, speak out to me. Do you have proof of a sensitivity? Make it flying lower and lower. I guess George is finally over. Luggage, whose clothes do you have? What a morning shops on WordNet. Luggage coming up from the blue. Loaning luggage, give me a clue.
Roy!
Venus the star, cover the sea. Would they work this on if it was you or me? We're all tired of acting rude. Watch them turn into shop food. John, John, where are you now? Is that you floating off of my bow?
Yes.
Luggage coming up from the blue. Floating luggage, give me a clue. Floating luggage, give me a clue. Floating luggage, give me a clue.
1202 at 560 WQAM. By the way, he ain't coming back. I hate to break the news to you. He's dead and he's not coming back. Let's move on with life, please. 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. There's Greg Reed standing in there with that hand on the forehead deal again, going, doing what he does best. Only he's got his jacket off now, so he's really rolled up his sleeves. Now we really know he's going to work, huh? Now we know he's serious and means business, okay? Don't mess with us. That's what he just said. Don't F with us. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Neil,
Yes, sir.
how you doing? It's Carlos here in Miami.
Yes, sir.
I disagree with your penny tax. I think it's a good idea because of traffic down here in Miami. And I think, you know how Broward is. Monkey see, monkey do. Once they see our penny tax, they're going to follow with their own penny tax. That's what I think.
No, they're not.
I think it's a good idea.
They're going to put their own penny tax in for what?
I don't know. You know how Broward is. Monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, okay, monkey this, okay. There's the best call we've had today in favor of the boondoggle. Monkey see, monkey do. What was he just showing you, by the way? What was that thing in a book?
The ratings of the teen ratings.
Yes.
For that period.
0.
In question, 0.5.
Yeah. No, but you don't understand. The children is defined as people under 12. Teens are 12 to 17 in Arbitron. If you would look in there is nobody under the age of 12, especially in May, because the kids are all in school. So the possibility of them listening, the likelihood of them listening is non-existent. But hey, it'll give him something to keep busy with for a while, you know. 5670560. I sure hope their attorneys are better than those Dow Lonis guys we had at Cox. Oh, boy. Woo! That Mike Disney thought were really great attorneys, yeah. And you remember what that one attorney told me that time when we had those frivolous lawsuits, the boy Gary one and the other? What was that guy that worked on the weekend, that old guy? That age discrimination one? Oh, what the hell was his name? That guy used to work at BZ in Boston 600 years ago? Larry Justice. Remember those two frivolous lawsuits? And I go in there for a meeting with one of the corporate attorneys, and he says to me, "Well, you know, this is good for a young guy, you know, because an older guy would never have said this. It's good for us because as long as this thing drags on, the meter keeps running for us." And I thought, yeah, that's good. Too bad Bob Green didn't hear that direct. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
My name's Don.
Yes, Don.
Oh, I got some information for you. I'm against the tax. I'm a senior citizen.
Yes, sir.
I get $800 a month off of Social Security.
Right.
It's going to take $8 out of my monthly check.
Mm-hmm.
The State Comprehensive Enhancement Transportation Sales Tax, Systems Tax, is on every gallon of gasoline. Gasoline is taxed by the state for the county 6 cents plus 3 cents. That's 9 cents tax they're getting now. They're asking for another penny. They're also got this transportation enhancement tax of 4.8, which gives you a total of 14.5 cents or 14.8 cents tax that they're getting now. Adding another penny really doesn't cut it for me. I'd like to find out what they're doing with the, well, it's about $500,000 a day that they're getting off the gasoline tax. What are they doing with it?
Okay, Don. Look at their pockets. You might find some of it. 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I'm Neil.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, yes for the penny sale tax on Thursday. I think it's a great idea, and I'm an insider, so you want to hear some facts on this transit?
Do I want to hear what?
You want to hear some facts on this transit system?
Yeah.
Okay, our major cities like New York, Washington, Atlanta, all of them have a penny sale tax for their transit.
How about
all the major cities don't have a
How about
sale
Los Angeles?
Like, Los Angeles does too. Our major cities, Miami, all the ones don't have a penny sale tax for transit.
Uh-huh.
And not only that, our major cities let elderly ride
Okay,
free.
listen, let me tell you, when you learn to speak English, pal, call me back and when we can have a conversation and I can understand at least every third word, that would be a good start, okay? And how much do they pay you to make that call? Get out of here. 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. 400 open lines. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
I am totally against this transit tax. I remember I was here when they tried to push this MetroRail through. And
What do you mean they tried to push it
well,
through?
they did. But look what a flop it is. Remember all the 250,000 people a day that was going to ride it?
Mm-hmm.
And if you ride over on Miami-Dade Road at 74th Street where the rail yard is,
Yeah.
look at all those cars parked there. All those empty trains that are going nowhere, they're parked. And we're paying for them to be parked. They used to have, I think, 6 cars on a train. They're down to 4. And the black people are being snookered on this because the major part of that money, I understand, is going to go for a new MetroRail,
right,
which will go up 27th Avenue. And if you go up 27th Avenue, most of the area is black, which means that it's going to displace a lot of homes and businesses. And the other leg, they want to put down 836 over to Miami Beach, which will go through Overtown.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these people are going to be displaced again. Look what happened when they put I-95
right.
through
Well,
Overtown.
it happens every time, right.
It destroyed the area. And the poor black people are going to be the ones that are suffering most. You might think, oh, it's 50 cents a day, but it's spread out over a period. Where if you buy a car, a washing machine, a house, clothes, you're paying for it all right then. All the sales tax. And it will never end. Never. And they're never satisfied. They went to 6.5%, but if you spend $1, you're paying 7 cents. What are they doing with the other half cent?
Mm-hmm.
When they throw away all the crooks that are in office and kick them out, the people might believe in what they're saying. But right now, the people don't believe it. I've been out walking around in the hot sun, passing out literature in my neighborhood.
Great, good for you.
So keep up the good work, Neil.
And you too.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Okay, just vote early and often. Vote at 8 o'clock,
No.
9 o'clock,
No.
10 o'clock on Thursday,
No.
11 o'clock at night after they close the polls, just to make sure.
No.
Because that's when you mark my words. Remember, I told you here today on Monday, July 26th, that Fat Neil told you that this is going to be just like the first one. It's going to go allegedly right down to the wire, and late at night, these votes from the outlying districts will come trickling in, just enough to put this thing over the top. There'll be just a couple thousand dead people will vote, just enough to put this thing over on the public again. 10 minutes past, and by the way, I'm coughing up the $20 to pay for JP's lunches, which I think is extraordinary for a guy like me. How can a guy like me afford to be doing something like that? Just because there are people running around here tossing my name around, okay? I don't want to mention Fat Rich. I don't want to mention that Fat Rich was eating fruit at the track last Wednesday, because then I would have to mention that he had that minor stroke, which he asked me not to mention on the air, but I can't help it because I'm psychotic over it. Wouldn't you think that after you have something that happened to you like that, just a few days later, for a few weeks, you'd at least, oh, I can do it about you. Okay, stop killing yourself, you crazy fat man.
Well, your mother tells me she was rummaging through your garbage.
Yeah, rummage through this, okay, Mom? There you go. Start rummaging through the bowl. Crazy old lady. Hey, you want you a great cigar, Nick Cigars. And by the way, they can put all the labels on there you want. A lot of us aren't going to stop smoking those great numbers, okay? And the cigars, too. Crazy-ass government we got. Repression. And in the meantime, they're nuking our meat. You realize that now, don't you? The radiation on the meat. I read an article about that last night. You would never eat another piece of meat as long as you live if you read that, what they're doing to us. But they're worried about labeling cigars. You go right ahead. It's a free country to a point, okay? As long as they can't catch you and smoke one of those great Perdomo Reserve or those Perdomo Squared or one of those Cuban Bullets or any of the other great cigars they make down there, the Dos Rios, La Tradicion, San Jose. They're all fantastic. They're all first rate. And Nick really knows how to make the best cigars anywhere in the universe.
There's no fact in the church.
It used to be hot back in the good old days before the old parts came and politician was named Jose.
Oi!
This town was once alive.
Yes.
They even had spring break. There were things to do all night. In Broward and in Day. But the old fart walking dead had the power to elect the crooked Julios who just got off the boat. I heard Neil Rogers cry. This is the day that Miami died.
Are you?
Everyone who thought the thing to best are the ones who brought us slow and painful death to Miami. Can you believe there was a time they had casinos in Hallandale, tried to organize the crime, But the experiment had failed when the brain did came to town and tore the fun stuff down. They pissed all over the place. It's a big goddamn disgrace. I heard Bill Rogers cry. This is the day that Miami died. What a great place it could have been, but self-serving assholes ruined it with apathy. I heard Neil Rogers cry.
Trump 17 at 560 WQAM. Just one short paragraph in Carl Hiaasen's brilliant column in yesterday's Herald, even though he's usually sleeping with the alligators. Oh, by the way, JP, just chill out, okay? Just relax. I'll take it out and trade. History teaches several unhappy lessons. One, it will cost billions more to build MetroRail than they say. Two, it'll take years longer to complete than they say. Three, far fewer commuters will ever ride it than they predict. And four, somebody will make a fortune off the construction.
Oh!
567-0560, pound 560 on the Mobile One line. We're talking about one of our favorite people in the history of the human race today, passed away recently. What was his name? Martin Agronsky. Didn't get Dmitry Tertishny. People die. Good people die. Some of them die young, like Dmitry. Did they get any coverage at all?
No.
And that butt-sucking Larry King. Oh, my God. A very remarkable young man. Yeah, remarkable for what? Man, is there a butt on the face of the earth that Larry wouldn't suck?
No.
Here's Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm in agreement with that lady that called earlier about this penny sales tax. I'm not going to vote no. I'm going to vote hell no.
Good.
For
hell
years,
no.
For years, African Americans have been promised jobs when these contracts are given.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to get the contracts. We're not going to get the jobs.
The only thing you're going to get, like Isaac Hayes would say, is the shaft.
You got it, buddy. Let's face it. Gonzalez and company will get these contracts. And again, we'll be misplanted or sent off somewhere else other than where we live now.
You got it.
I'm voting hell no.
All right. There you go. So far, the black community on this show is saying,
no.
We've talked to 45,000 black brothers and sisters and uncles and mothers and whatever, and they all say,
no.
Except for that one guy that I couldn't understand a word he was saying, who was obviously reading a bunch of propaganda that he was programmed. Hey, by the way, Mayor, it won't do you any good to have a bunch of plants calling in on this show. Won't do any good. You're still going to get your ass whipped on Thursday. 567-0560, pound 560 on the Mobile One line. We got 200 or 300 waiting for you there. Jim Mad Dog Mandich again for Hank today, this time from Shula Steak 2 at 2 o'clock. Donnie B with his half hour of whatever that is, talking baseball 6 o'clock. By the way, have you ever noticed that Donnie B, for a guy that's a sports intern, a little old, you know, he just turned 45? Are you aware of that? George, did you know that Donnie B just had his 47th birthday?
No.
It's pretty old for a sports like...
Doesn't look a day over 50.
What is his title? 52 on Friday. Happy birthday, Donnie B. Just turned 54 over the weekend. You know? Maybe that's why he likes Chris Moore, because it rhymes with 54. And then we got the Marlins and the Phillies tonight. Anybody excited about that one?
No.
Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I live in Broward County up there in Coral Springs, and obviously this penny sales tax is not going to affect me directly, but it's going to affect everyone in Broward County in a very indirect and down the road way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like Hurricane Andrew when all the misfits from Dade County moved up to Broward County. If this penny sales tax passes, you're going to have a lot more misfits from Dade County moving into Broward County, into Coral Springs, the acres and plantations all over the place. And, I just wanted to answer that other idiot that said that Broward County monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
Our taxes have been 6%, and Dade has been 6.5% for several years.
Right.
We haven't followed.
That's right.
And we're not about to follow those idiots.
There isn't even any discussion about Broward adding that
Absolutely
extra penny.
not.
What are they going to do, start a MetroRail? Where's that going to go?
No, the people in Dade County, if they want to do anything, they have to rise up, and they have to do something about the partner in this crime that's being perpetrated against them. The partner in this crime is the Miami Herald, and I say that they should say no to the Herald.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. There's a guy that lives in Broward and doesn't want any more of you intruders from Dade moving on in. You know what I'm saying? Not that we want to sound unfriendly, but enough is enough. Little hospitality is a nice thing. Just don't overdo it. Don't overextend your welcome. 5670560. But look at that. 6,000 open lines in there. I'm sitting here watching these lines pop off like confetti. 5670560 and pound 560 on a mobile one line. Boy, is it a battle here in the summertime or what?
No.
Huh? It's not? Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Neil, whatever happened with the half-penny sales tax for Jackson Memorial?
Whatever
that
happened
was supposed to build the trauma center, right?
Yeah.
Trauma center has been built how long? We're still paying for it.
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to pay for this thing forever.
That's right.
Forever
it's
and
going to
ever.
be like another albatross. It's like putting a noose around your own neck.
Exactly. An old politician told me once, if you vote a tax, you'll live for it for the rest of your life.
That's right. You'll never get rid of it. You'll never say goodbye.
Morons here in Dade County that you move on, they're going to vote for this thing, that you move to Washington, D.C. and back up Myron Berry again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because
well, at least he's got some good drugs anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're more or less in the same plateau there, you know?
Yeah.
It's that, it's a rip-off. Jackson Memorial Hospital is completely a rip-off. They're taking money from us. What have they done? Nothing. These people better wise up. If they wise up or move out, one of the two.
Amen.
Eliminate all these incumbents, vote them out of office, put them in there. If they don't do it, get them out.
Okay. See you bright and early Thursday morning, pal.
I'll be there.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. We're talking about Martin Negronsky today and Dmitry Tertishny. And, of course, anybody else who died recently whose last name wasn't Kennedy. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'm voting no.
No.
Big time.
Yes, sir.
I'm a Julio.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with that.
Okay. Muchas gracias.
Bye.
Okay. And don't be playing that stuff backwards. Boy. How come we never got any calls about that? About that old black magic, about that whatever that thing was. They're back masking again on Radio Unica. They're back masking and they're finding all kinds of crap in the Trevi Fountain. That's where the devil lives, baby. That's where he's heading right now. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if you find the devil and the chupacabra both in the Trevi Fountain right now as I speak in Rome. Let's go to Rome. What do you say?
Oh!
Not Georgia, not New York. I'm talking about Italia. I'm talking about a real city where they have living and breathing people and some real serious pasta. By the way, great lunch from our friend Brad at Tony's today. And I sent the $20 over to pay for my young impressionable friend who thinks that he's, Neil Jr. Well, I told him he could go ahead but not when he's here on the weekend. Not when he's here alone on the weekend, probably with some people I can't stand, like maybe even,
Joe Zagacki.
Oh, you know something? I would regurgitate what little bit of lunch I've eaten already. I would puke it up right back now if I found out that some of that food that was shared on the weekend was eaten by
Joe Zagacki.
Oh, that would just send me off the deep end.
And he's got to learn how to do it too.
Yeah.
Ask for the owner and
right.
Talk
to Brad, schmooze with him a little bit. Tell him you'll cuddle up to him. I don't think he's your kind, but nevertheless. No, seriously, you got to do it right. Don't just start getting arrogant at your young impressionable 19-year-old punk. Okay, he's a good guy. Never stole a freight train. One of my best close personal friends. But you got to know how to do it with a little bit of tact, okay? Don't be like a bull in an elephant shop. Or how's that thing go? Here's a mobile in West Palm. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
Great.
I'd like to change the subject.
Go right ahead.
Miami politics.
Mm-hmm.
I've been listening to your show for quite some time, and I hear you often bash Florida and what a toilet it is. And I used to disagree with you based on never being anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But I took a trip up to a northeastern state, and I did not want to come home. Maybe it's beautiful up there. The people are different, and notice that people don't lock their doors. The windows are half down, and they're often very liberal. But then I realized why, and that's because I didn't see a minority anywhere you look.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to say.
Where was this? Where was this?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania?
It was beautiful.
There were no Amish?
I didn't see any Amish. There are a lot of them up there.
Yeah.
But this is, up there, and I'm like, but the minorities you do meet and talk to, they're decent, respectful, law-abiding people. And it's something about Florida, I don't know what it is. It just had the chip on their shoulder or what.
Yeah.
And I was
very
really impressed.
unfriendly, hostile place. You're right, sir. Well, good luck to you. Start exploring the world. You find out there's some real great people out there, and in some living and breathing cities, like Toronto. 5-6-M. Go Leafs, go, baby. Oh! Yeah, it's almost that time, man. Let's get that hockey talk going. What do you think?
No.
Come on. That's our problem. We need a lot more hockey talk on this show. We can whittle that down to about a 1 share.
The tits on that blonde, man. All right.
Tell me that you love my eyes.
Yes.
But I know that you keep on checking out my thighs.
Uh-huh.
Don't blame you 'cause I'm very cute. Check out my breasts, they're poking out my looks at you. You come on to me and whisper things in my ear. And it sounds so but if you wanna date me, you slow. There's things about me I don't think you know. I'm underage, 17. You should be scared of me, 'cause you could go to jail if you sleep with me. If I scream, you end up praising me. She looks 25, but she's just a teen. Perfect teeth, I bet my lips are sweet. Daddy called the cops last night. Oh! My breasts are perfect to see because I've had surgery. None of my skirts reach my knees. My butt just hangs right out of my shoulder.
Rectum.
You should be scared of her. Scared of me? And Rolling Stones brand made her look dynamite. What a sight. She's looking mighty fine. She looks 25, but she's just a teen.
Call 33 at 560 WQAM. By the way, I can't discuss the thing in detail, but that FCC complaint, where we're allegedly going to get fined. To show you how brilliant they are up in Washington, I think some of them are illiterate. Not only are they a bunch of anal retentive assholes, but like on a transcript they've got of some of the things that were allegedly played on the show a year ago, May. So anyway, in this particular one...
Rectum? Hell, it damn near killed him.
So they've got it written out as wrecked, W-R-E-C-K, wrecked him, it damn near... Are you ready for that, as opposed to...
Rectum? Hell, it damn near killed him.
Okay, nice going up there, okay? Commissioners, you're a bunch of rocket scientists, and be sure and let me know which was your favorite one again, like you did 10 years ago, when we're all done with this. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Neil, I've got a long-time listener. I got 3 quick questions. Number 1, what do you think is the best laxative?
Uh-huh. Okay. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Again, another hell no
Yeah?
for my vote.
Uh-huh.
And about that SOB that was just on talking about misfits from Dade County after Hurricane Andrew.
Uh-huh.
I was up there and cash in hand, ready to lease a house for a year, 2 years, whatever it took to move my family out so that I could rebuild.
Right.
And I was treated with nothing but disrespect, rudeness, more so than I ever found here in Miami.
There you go.
So,
well, he never said that we're polite. He just said whatever he said.
Right. Well, he's an asshole, too.
Okay, thanks. Well, you got to understand, when the median age is 100 plus 10 in Broward, there's going to be a lot of rude old farts, okay? They got their aches and pains. They do a lot of kvetching all the time. What's wrong with that? Is their middle name. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's a call from Charlottesville, Virginia. Hello.
How you doing, Neil?
Yes, sir.
I'm just wondering. I just finally found you on the internet here, and I hear that you're talking about trying to expand the MetroRail, and it was junk when I was down there, and I haven't been able to pick up exactly what they're trying to do here.
What they're trying to do is make a lot of business for all these construction companies, that are good buddies with all the politicians. That's what they're trying to do.
And meanwhile, are they going to take it out to the airport?
No. Well,
No.
yeah, 836.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Are they going to take it out to the Orange Bowl?
No, not to the Orange Bowl. They're taking it to PP Park. And, of course, by the time they would get that leg built, the Marlins would either be out of town or have a new stadium, and so it would be there for a few weeks a year when the Dolphins play, 8 home games.
Of course. And is anything ever going to get done on time down there?
No.
Never.
Just come on back for a couple of days and vote no, pal.
I'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
God bless you. We'll send you a plane ticket, okay? The Beasley just said we'll send you a plane ticket. That's what we'll do. Oh! We're going to take it out of JP's pay. Of course, he's an intern. You don't get paid, so that's going to be kind of tough to do, but we'll work it out some way. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. I got more people. This is Fat Rich from the Neil Rogers Show. This is JP from the Neil. Well, see, I told him to do that anyway. I take full responsibility. I told him to do that. But you got to do it with a little bit of tact. Don't talk to the peons over there. You got to talk to somebody that's, not Tony, of course, not Brad, because he would know you're not what you say you are. Like most people I meet down here, they're not what they say they are. And by the way, I'm so glad I worked my way into that, because here's a little message for all you young people out there. Since it is July, it is the summertime. We do have kids listening in the summertime. I do want to make sure, in May, we don't have any kids listening. They're all in school. But here's a very important message for you, okay? Like all these people who deny, like Ricky Martin, any celebrity or anybody else, any person who says that he's not gay, that person is gay, okay? Any person who publicly denies being gay, maricon. Tell you right now. Anybody who says that he's straight, maybe a chance, okay? But as soon as somebody says, oh no, I'm not, that's the one. Just like George in there, he's always telling you, oh no, I got a wife, maricon. Hi, Aliyah, hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay, sir.
Just wanted to know, how stupid can South Florida...
I think you're in for a real shock. You'll be amazed at how stupid these people are.
I'm surprised nobody raised a stink or nobody said anything about it, but just last week, a lot of these commissioners and the airport director, they're up in Washington requesting more money for the airport expansion.
Mm-hmm.
This was a plan that was going to be $1.6 billion, and it was going to be done by the year 2001. Now they're talking about 2008 and something like $4.6 billion. That's
all right.
Outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
And over here, today, I got today's Herald, Miami section, or Dade County section, and it has all the proposed routes for the MetroRail and this and that. And they're talking about the 7 new lines. Well, 5 of those 7 lines are either in conceptual or early planning stages.
Like Carl Hyson says, there's a good chance, even if they pass this tax, that there will never be 1 new inch of MetroRail.
Exactly.
Get out there early, pal.
And also here, outrageous.
Yeah.
It has all the places it's going to be going, and to the Port of Miami, it's going to have 2 underground stations.
Mm-hmm.
Why underground? I guess because they cost more money to build them underground.
Could be.
And people are going to benefit from...
Or maybe Mickey is going to, intercept all those people going underground and stick it, and they're going to wind up on the other side on his cruise ships.
Could be.
They go in on the MetroRail, and they come out on the other side on a ship.
And outrageous. And talking about the major maricon of Dade County, it's got to be Pinellas. He's a flavor.
Okay, thanks. That's what everybody seems to be saying. Have a great day, pal. Get out there early and often. You know what I'm saying?
Outrageous.
That's what I said. 5670560, pound 560 on our prestigious mobile one line here on a Monday. Making some serious progress. I predict that nobody in their right mind is going to go out there and vote on Thursday. In their right mind, you understand. And we do have a lot of crazy people out there, and we also have a lot of other people who for $30 will vote whatever you want. And don't forget that always very enthusiastic bunch of dead people who are waiting to be bought out anytime. That's right. Just waiting in the wings. In fact, let's let Humberto Hernandez out just on Thursday. Oh! One more time. Come on, Bert. Oh! You can do it. He's got connections there.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
Bones. No more will he rise. There's no more doctor on the Enterprise. Bones won't cure anymore. Thought Scotty would go first for sure. We love Bones. He was only a country doc. We love Bones.
They can't save him like they did Spock.
No.
McCoy's gone underground where no man has gone before. And Bones, we're gonna miss him, especially when he said, "Damn it, Jim." Dead Bones, we're gonna miss you, Bones.
12:45 at 560 WQAM. And we missed Bones. I mean, did they have a big deal about him?
Damn it.
No. Here's the facts. Somebody from Rochester, New York, no less. Wait till you hear this. Please tell Dade people to take the $30 but vote no on the increase. Now wait till I get to this last sentence here. Leave a, I'm sure it's supposed to say booger, but it's spelled B-O-G-G-E-R. Leave a bogger on the yes poll. Is that like tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree? Leave a yellow a big brown bogger on the yes poll, please. Okay, whatever you say from Rochester, New York, probably a little bit too much Don and Bob's. Too many White Hots affected their brain. See it Vic and Irv's, okay, for some garbage plates. 5670560, pound 560 on the Mobile One line. Here's Miami. Hello? Miami?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm the one guy from Miami that's voting for yes.
Uh-huh.
Because I traveled around. Every major city has big train system. They don't rely just on roads. Because, there's a limit to how many roads you can build around the town.
Uh-huh. Well, what about the train system we got now that's losing money hand over limp wrist? How about that one?
So there's only one leg. It doesn't go anywhere.
Uh-huh.
So once it's connected to a cross-section of the city, it will work.
And how about the fact that there's no guarantees that they're going to build any of this, sir?
Yeah, but it will.
How do you know that?
Once
in other words, you trust the track record of the local politicians and you're just so confident it will?
Once there's a commitment from the city, the federal government will kick in.
Yeah, and that's another thing, sir, that you're brainwashed. There's no guarantees. If you would read something, there is absolutely no guarantee. There's all this competition for those federal dollars. There's no guarantee we're going to get any of it. And what if we don't?
I want to be the first one who set fire to my car, man.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll come over and help you out. He wants to be there. In fact, just drive it up to Woodstock. They'll set fire to it. Take up a bunch of cheap bottled water and charge them too much, and they'll show you what's for. They'll set your ass on fire in no time. See, this is what you get when you got a bunch of young punks up there. I realized there was 225,000 people, and it only took a few. We're always hearing those excuses to pee on everybody's parade and start those fires. And, it goes to show you, when it's hotter in hell and you start overcharging people for crappy bottled water, they're going to get pissed off, What else can we do? I will say this much about the 60s. All these people that are trying to relive the 60s because they've discovered for whatever reason that the 90s suck in their opinion. The only great thing from the 60s was the music. That was the best thing of the 60s. Not the drugs, not the sex. I mean, sex ain't any different in the 90s than it was in the 60s. In fact, people are getting more of it. They're denying it more, but they're doing it. But the music, that's what it was all about. Let's play Motown the rest of the week, huh? We can fine for that. Oh, we can? Here's a mobile in Miramar. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
Okay.
Hey, I got a question for you about the Panthers. Neil?
I'm listening.
What do you think? Wow, who are we going to sign next? Because right now it looks like...
Okay, 567 over. Wow, who do you think we're going to sign next? What do you think about that, George? You got any opinions about that?
No.
Wow, who are we going to sign next? Probably somebody you never heard of before, okay? Probably somebody who's real cheap. Probably somebody who wants to be treated in an infantile way who might play for Terry Murray. Is there any such person on the face of the earth?
No.
5670560, pound 560 on the Mobile One line. There's your typical South Florida sports hockey fan there. Really knows his crap. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Neil, how you doing?
Great.
Good. I just wanted to enlighten you on why the black vote is being swayed.
Yes, sir?
There are two politicians.
What kind of propaganda is being put out here?
Well, there are two politicians, one being Carrie Meek, the other one being that sucking Uncle Tom, Willie Logan. Running spots.
You never met a booch he didn't like, yeah.
That is absolutely correct. Running spots on the black radio stations, talking about how this proposition or this referendum
will help the black community.
Oh, yeah.
How the MetroRail will run into those areas, as well as the 60,000 jobs that is allegedly to provide, are going to be targeted to quote-unquote us.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's why they're under the belief that it's going to help them.
Never going to happen.
Not at all. Not at all.
In addition to which, just like the guy said before, like they do with the expressways, not just here, but in all major cities, when they build them through black ghetto neighborhoods, what happens? Everybody gets displaced and they tear the place up, and God only knows what's going to happen with those people.
You know what? I don't understand how anybody in the black community in Dade County could listen to Willie Logan any longer anyway.
Right.
It's a matter of,
he's the guy who helped give you the Jebster, who's doing his best to destroy the public education system to make sure that the minorities are all in the crappiest schools possible and everybody else can, get a handout to go someplace else.
Just so he could keep his prestigious nose up in the upper echelon of politics.
Right. That's right.
So he's looking just as bad as the rest of the Hispanic population that turns on their people and does whatever to them. He's doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always about doing something for their people, not doing something for everybody.
And isn't it interesting that it never happens for their people either, especially here?
It doesn't, but it just goes to show you. We start looking out, so-called, for our own. Whatever happened to looking out for the community?
Yeah.
And it's my understanding.
You forgot where you live.
Well, it's my understanding that the community is everybody, not just a specific classification of people.
Yeah. Well, when we had that thing with the Cubans and the Coast Guard, if you recall, don't you remember Mayor Pinga saying, "Oh, these are our people, our people."
Well, that's why I live in Broward like you.
Okay. See ya. 567-0560, pound 560 on the Mobile One line. We got about 300 or 400 open lines here, an hour and 9 minutes to kill here on a marginal Monday. It's kind of marginal, but you can smell it in the air, can't you? It's really heating up as we get closer towards Thursday. We're going to have a barn burner here on Thursday. We're up to $600 now for every no vote. Cash money. 567-0560, pound 560 on the Mobile One line. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Yes, folks.
What is it?
Yes, folks.
Yes, what?
Folks.
What language are you speaking, sir?
English.
Yeah. And what did you say again? Yes, votes?
Yes, votes.
Yes, votes.
Yes.
Is there a comma in there?
No.
How you be spelling that?
I be spelling it the right way.
How do you spell it?
I be spelling the right way.
Yeah, I be spelling. Okay, spell this. Woo! Wow! 567. I mean, they speak for themselves. There's a few of these calls here today. They require no editorial comment, no embellishment from my part whatsoever. They be speaking for themselves. Yes, votes. Yes, sir. 567. By the way, what's the number on line 7? Do we have a number on that one? Because this guy's no longer amusing me or slightly humorous. So I think we'll just give him a number out. Maybe he will want to talk to some other people since he doesn't want to talk to me, and he thinks he's a very humorous guy. No got?
No got.
Oh, it figures, 567-0560, pound 560 on a mobile online. What a surprise. Here's a call from the Keys. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, pal?
Okay, sir.
You were doing great just a little bit ago, so I'm sure you're doing the same thing. True story. Last Tuesday, went and bought my wife a brand new SUV, 99.
Mm-hmm.
Down here, we got 7.5% interest on taxes here in the Florida Keys. Went to Dade. Bought the truck. Saved ourselves over $400. Vote no on that sales tax.
Okay.
Just to give you a little insight. That was only one vehicle.
Right, that's right. One guy and one car.
That's it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
People that were coming up from the Keys, will they come up if they raise the tax in Dade?
No.
That's his point. Excellent, sir. 567-0560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. We got 6,248 open lines here in an hour and 6 minutes. It looks like a Jordan night day. I can smell it. I can feel it. I can feel that nauseous feeling in the pit of my stomach every time I hear that Jordan night stuff, and especially the video. See, some songs are enhanced when you see the video, like Beautiful Stranger by Madonna, because it's got all the Austin Powers stuff in it. But some of the songs, there should not be a video. You know what I'm saying, Jordan? You get it?
Uh-huh.
Here's Miami. Hello. Miami. Okay, nice talking to you, too. Here's a mobile in Miramar. Hello.
Neil.
They're starting to spaz out now. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to confirm Mayor Pinga is...
Okay, great. So far, so we're down to basically I guess 3 hours ain't bad, huh? I could handle a 3-hour show. 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. See, as soon as one spaz gets on, then all the other ones, since basically nobody here's got a brain in their head or an original thought in their mind, then all the other spazzes, oh, it must be Spaz Monday. Yeah. Sure starting to sound like it. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, on my radio, I live in the city, right? And on my radio, I ain't never heard of, only thing I ever heard, vote yes. Today is the first day I ever heard anybody say vote no.
Yeah.
Right? And you said about an hour ago, when you pay $1 for something, the tax is supposed to be 6.5. And when you pay $1, you pay 7 cents on the dollar, right? So, I just came to think about that.
He said, F it, is what he said. He's voting no. He said, F it. Oh, don't say that. Not now, man. Because the Federal Censorship Commission will be knocking on your door between now and midnight, and they'll take away all your possessions and your firstborn and thirdborn. And anybody else in between. 5670560, pound 560. Isn't it great to live in a community where there's this vibrant excitement and interest and concern about what's going on, which is the only reason, by the way, that they're always able to put one over on you every time they want, Because most of the people here are in La La Land. Their favorite song is, that's their theme song. That's the anthem for Dade County.
Yeah.
It's the 1 to 2 hour.
Boy. I'm queer, and by admission, I'm a fag who likes gin balls. I'm here to confirm suspicion. It's fact, but that's not all. I'll be ready to step through as long as it's alive. It don't matter to me if it's girl or if it's guy, but I prefer a big brown eye. Inside brown eye, I slide into the beat of a summer. I like guys, that's why I love the beat of a summer. Loving the beat of the summer. Loving the beat of the summer. I thought one addition to what I confess. I found a new addiction. I like to wear a dress. I look at for satisfied, the best my private time. I got my one final kiss, I want to carry on. Like a bullet through the back. Inside brown eyes, I slide into the beat of the summer. I like, that's why I love the beat of the summer. Loving the beat of the summer. Loving the beat of the summer.
Oh, Jesus, are you f***ing kidding me?
103 at 560 WQM. Happy Monday to you from all your close personal friends here at Free Speech Radio 560 WQM, where even the ex-jocks can say all they want. Here's Miami. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, sir.
Hey, thanks for reading my letter earlier.
Oh, is this the guy that blocked out his last
No.
name?
No.
Oh.
I'm the one that actually gave you my name.
Oh, Tim?
Yes.
Oh. Why would a guy do that? He puts a letter to the editor with his name in there that's in my newspaper this morning, which I had read, and then he faxes me a copy of it and crosses out his last name.
Well, I don't know that he sent it, so maybe it was somebody else trying to protect him.
Oh,
I don't know.
That's possible, but highly unlikely. But anyway.
Yeah, but even if it's in the paper, I mean, hello.
Exactly.
You get everything. Anyway, again, reiterating.
Please.
They've totally mismanaged to this point. Why are we going to expect that they will manage correctly a penny? They can't.
You know, it's interesting. On the front page of the Sun Sentinel this morning, there's a big thing, a grand vision for Miami, and it's got Joe Carroyo on there. And he says, I just want to quote one thing that he said. And, of course, I wouldn't trust him from here to the wall, but nevertheless, he says, this is a city that has more potential than any other, meaning Miami, not only in America but worldwide. The only thing we have standing in the way of this city reaching its greatest potential is the corruption we have here. Now, this coming right from Joe Carroyo's mouth, I mean, are we going to trust the politicians to take this extra 1% sales tax and spend it on the things that they promised us?
No. Not in your life. Yeah, that was it. And I have already had dealings with another government that said, yes, we're asking you to approve this, and we'll get approval from the government. We'll have matching funds, and we'll have this wonderful facility. Never happened.
Okay, Tim.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye.
There's a guy who's going to vote 4 times. I'll guarantee you that, and won't cost any money to get him to vote. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Any of you that have been here actually during both situations, during the first referendum on the MetroRail, which was just a nightmare. I think it was 1980. Am I right about that? I believe so. About 20 years ago. Anybody that was here then and saw what went down and the lies that were made and all the money that was wasted, and then even El Presidente Reagan said, after the whole thing went down about a year later, he said, for the money that it cost to build a MetroRail in Miami, they could have bought every man and woman in Dade County a new car, a new limousine, and not spent the $1 billion that they spent to build that boondoggle that nobody was riding. Nice going, Ronnie. Of course he forgets. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great.
Hey, I got a little story for you. My mother-in-law is a born-again Christian.
Oi!
And she knows I don't believe in God and all that stuff. So you know how the Calvin Klein has the CK or whatever? She buys me a T-shirt that has the CK on it, but it's Christ is King. So my wife tells her, why did you buy that for him? He's not going to wear it. She goes, he goes, well, he doesn't believe in it. She goes, he doesn't believe in it? Well, he's our creator.
Yeah.
Did you get it, Neil?
Did you get it, George? Did you get it, folks?
Not lately.
Oh, okay. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Anybody get it?
No.
No. Here's a mobile in Miramar. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
They say that, I've been hearing that if you do buy a major purchase in Broward County, they're going to tax you where the residence you live in.
Yeah.
How true is it?
That is true. If you live in Dade County? Oh, you mean if you live in Dade and you go to Broward?
Yeah.
You buy a car.
Yeah. And they'll tax you 7.5?
If you buy a car and it's registered in Dade County, yes, of course, then it would depend on where you live.
No, where you live at. If you live in Dade.
That's what I just said. But anything besides a car, the answer would be no.
Okay. Thanks.
Got it? Okay. That's my understanding, and I'm pretty damn sure I'm right. Am I right? Pretty sure. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's the mobile in Miami. Hello.
Good afternoon, Neil. How you doing?
Great.
Okay, 2 things. Corruption and weak-minded community basically sums it all up. I went through it already once in the city of New Orleans, which right now has a 10% city tax as we speak. And you can see it, the mismanagement of money. First of all, they are.
Well, thank God there's no corruption there in New Orleans. Yeah.
They basically went through it, and that's why it's at 10% now, because it keeps going higher and higher. They had no choice but to raise it. And that community itself gathers millions of dollars in tourism. Now, I know Miami does as well, and that's where most of their money comes from. But to raise the taxes, it's just going to go higher and higher. And the 7% is going to turn into 8.5%, and 8.5% is going to turn into 9%. I've watched it, myself. I've seen it growing myself. And that's what's going to happen. It's the tax that you have right now. You have to do what you can with the money that you have now instead of raising for corruption and whatnot.
Yeah, give us back that 2 cents. Take it back again, the local option gas tax. I don't think anybody would scream about that. And do something with that. Build some more damn roads, widen some existing roads, but stop giving us this song and a dance and threatening us by clogging up the traffic and trying to frustrate everybody into voting yes.
And, get somebody out there to fix my sidewalks, too, because they're crumbling.
They'll be out there by midnight. Okay. Yeah, get somebody out there for some storm sewers in the acres, by the way. Can't afford that. Well, Mayor Veltri, he needed that $44,000, but he's giving it back. Let's hear it for the old mayor.
All right.
He's 120 this week. 5670560. I mean, see, this is like, it's like walking through a minefield here when you get into politics. But the good part of it is there's nobody walking through it, because other than the politicians themselves, everybody else is walking around going,
yeah.
Yeah. So they basically have a clear field. They can do whatever the hell they want. Because this is probably, of any metropolitan area of this size, the most uninvolved, most Neanderthal, most la-la land place you'll ever find. And if you black people are going to trust Whitey again, if you're going to trust Uncle Tom again, with all the bull crap, whether it's Willie Logan or whether it's the Mayor Pinga or whichever one of these guys you trust, that they're going to give you all these jobs and do all these wonderful things for, then you must be unbelievably stupid. God, how many times have you heard the same sad song over and over again? Empty promises.
Oh, and then he is a dork. Oh!
In theaters now, from the director of Star Trek and the producer of The Spy Who Shagged Me. It's The Spy Who Shagged Spock.
Do I make you horny? Sir, would you mind explaining that statement, please?
Do I make you horny, baby? Yeah, do it.
Fascinating, but quite impossible.
Oh, groovy, baby.
And as for my anatomy being different from yours, I am delighted.
Well, they're astronomical, believe me.
Very long, and judging from what we've seen so far, I agree.
Oh, behave.
The Spy Who Shagged Spock.
Shall we shag now, or shall we shag later?
I wonder what Starfleet Command will say about that. Live long and prosperous.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, let me look it up in the book. Good song, though.
Yeah.
George says this is from the 60s. I think you're out of your mind.
Like 69 or something.
You're crazy.
72 at the latest.
Oh. 1070.
Like I said.
Yeah. Okay, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Yeah, we're going to all music now because we don't want to say anything that might offend anybody out there. And we're getting real nervous about that. Here's Boca. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you know what's ridiculous? That the media is still going on about this whole JFK tragedy thing. Now they're talking
yeah, okay, get a life, pal. Okay, that's one of your chronic buddies out there. Get a life, sweetheart. Bet, with that little baby talk, that makes me want to barf up a great lunch. Great lunch today, by the way, Brad, and we apologize profusely from some of the imitators around here. 5670560. Are you serious? He called up Brad to apologize?
Yeah.
That won't do him any good next time. Oh, it will? Yeah, he's just setting the stage for the next free meal he wants. Here's a lady in Kendall. Hello.
Hi, Neil. How you doing?
Okay.
I wanted to confirm your report about Ricky Martin. He's definitely bisexual. He admitted it on a Latin television program maybe 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And you know, he keeps saying that he's with this woman, that he's totally straight, but he's just lying. And I don't know what's going on.
I hate to break the news to you, sweetheart, but the bisexual woman part is maybe he once sat next to a woman on a bus. Do you know what I'm saying? That's as close to a woman as I think Ricky ever got.
And my other comment, what's going on with the wrestling federation? They're resorting to having women from men now, or she-males?
I don't know, not my bag, but talk to somebody who knows about that crap, okay? I'm not the one. Talk to one of our sports guys. They're into that stuff.
Oh!
Okay, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Miami Beach. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, God bless you, the radio station, for exposing these frauds, swindlers, and these shysters that are running Dade County.
Yep.
Trying to push this
they're running it all right into the ground.
Yeah, trying to push this down our throat. And I also heard make a comment. I was around with the first MetroRail, and something that I don't think too many people brought up about the massive real estate fraud that went on during the first time around.
Yeah.
And I just encourage everyone to go out there and vote, send a message to these politicians, no mo taxes.
I said let's give them the shock of their lives on Thursday. I live in Broward, but I wish just for one day I could be in Dade County because I vote at least 40 or 50 times.
And Merritt Steerheim, get out of Dodge.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.
Yeah, we got rid of him once, and then just like a bad penny, he keeps showing up again. Fine. What was the guy's name? John Dyer. That's right. John Dyer is the one that screwed us up. He was in on the original Metro. He was one of the planners of that deal. He was like the transportation director, and then he went out to Los Angeles and swindled them out of a whole song and a dance and put together a boondoggle of a system that never worked out. John Dyer. As in, we're dying over here. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Miami. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
That enough of the sucking cartridge you used to play all the time, you buried that. You haven't played that in years. You got to get that out again. That's good.
Yeah.
And about that fag play you advertised, you going to be in the front row seats at every performance?
No, I'm not going to be there at all, are you?
You're going to be in front row seats?
Yeah, suck this, okay, moron. And thanks for listening, by the way, to the highly rated Neil Rogers Show here on 560 WQAM. You got to be in the front. You got to be in the front. You got to be. No. George will be there though. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Another retard. Another one of those mental cases out there, a man with no life whatsoever who's got the radio turned up real loud, probably sitting on his goddamn radio right now, getting real vibrations on his...
Rectum.
Have a great day, pal. Good talking to assholes like you because it's nice to know that you're out there. Here's a mobile in Doral. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Listen, some people don't seem to remember, but when Mayor Sturheim before and during the MetroRail thing when he was here, do you remember there was another tax increase that was supposed to be all law enforcement and fire, and the people all voted for it?
Don't remember.
And then, boom, a week after Sturheim and the commission got it, they said, no, we can use it for whatever we want. And they took none of it for what it was voted for and used it all on MetroRail.
Don't remember.
Yeah, it was another Merit Sturheim trick. Trust me. Maybe someone else remember, but I remember the vote in the big election.
See, we have a real problem here because like I told somebody in the first hour of the show today, it's such a transient area that there just aren't very many of us who were here 20 years ago when they pulled this crap the first time. In addition to which, how many of us could survive 20 years here without getting the hell out of this place?
That's true. I forget about that sometimes since I've been out here all my life, but there is hope. I'll be gone soon. Have a good one, Neil.
Back to it. They're all bailing out, damn it. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. And by the way, for that jackass, that retard before, that anal retentive retard.
Enough of the sucking.
And
get the Hoover out the moon, man. Sanga sucare.
And
Kamana na an pagsipsip.
Oh yeah. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. What happened to our friends in Fort Myers? Are we on the air over there today?
No.
Probably took us off because of that whole FCC business, you know. Can never be too cautious. Probably put that good old-time religion back on there again. All right. Those are the people that the FCC ought to be after. Those are the ones, most of them ought to be in jail for defrauding all these pathetic, lonely old people, mostly women, out of their lifetime savings with all this fraudulent bullcrap. Oh, no, we can't touch that. It's in the name of religion. Yeah, right. Here's Doral. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Mark and Doral. Hey, I'm one of those poor slobs that have been here for, when MetroRail started more than 20 years plus.
Oi!
Happy to say I am out of here next month. I have history, but I will vote and vote off in this Thursday. And it's going to be no. And,
no.
I've been telling everybody that I know to vote no, and you're doing pretty good. I work the midnight shift, so I'm not able to hear much of your show.
Yeah.
But I've been reading the paper, and you talk about mass information and lies that that Pinellas and everybody else is, trying to feed the public. It's not gonna fly, and I don't think it's gonna pass. I think a lot of people are gonna wise up. And there was a good column yesterday on Sunday's paper by
Carl Hyacin.
Carl Hyacin.
Yeah, I read it on the air before. It was great.
It's great, and he's right. It'll be a miracle if they actually do something with our money that's what's intended to be for. But the one thing I want to know is why now, they're going to have a civilian oversight review board. What about all the responsibility with all the money they've given to these crooks that have been in office, have gotten out? We had a commissioner that was driving around, spending the money, the gas money, filling up tanks. And
right.
You can possibly really use all that gas here in Florida. What about that? I work with the county. I went to the ethics meeting. What a bunch of crap that was. And just because you go to a meeting doesn't mean it's actually going to work.
Yeah, South Florida political ethics. If there was ever an oxymoron, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
so keep doing a good job. I am out of here, Neil. Hey, listen, thanks for the good 20-plus years that I've been able to hear you.
Best of luck.
All right, man.
See you. They're all bailing out. Like I said, they're getting out of here while the getting is good. Before we have nothing but a bunch of corrupt politicians in here. Thank God we don't have those people like Barry Schreiber and Johnny Jones. And, the list goes on forever. How's Bert Hernandez doing, huh?
Oh!
How's Joe Gersten doing, by the way? Anybody seen him lately?
No.
Wonder how he's doing with all that money that he disappeared with in that Mercedes and those hot chicks he was, he had a little nose problem. Whatever happened with that? Never heard any more about that. Just like the thing with those cops in that prostitution ring they were running down there. You people in the media here, who are you fooling? Who are you kidding? We got Liván Hernández on the front page. Like I said, we never got one call about that. Here's yesterday's Herald, okay? This is supposed to be a major market newspaper, a once famous newspaper that's now just a piece of crap that most parakeets, by the way, start pouting if you put it in the bottom of their cage. They start doing real bad squirts if you put it in the cage. Careful Liván trade. This is the same newspaper that just kind of dropped the ball along with the other one, but it was a Dade County story. Dropped the ball on that story about the prostitution ring with a 16-year-old, not just an ordinary prostitution ring, but with minors, okay, with underage girls. All these cops coming from all around Dade County showing up there, and you know somebody's got a list and knew who was being naughty and nice. And all of a sudden, like a guy said one day last week, it just dried up like a big prune, turned into a goddamn, like a plum turns into a prune, like a grape turns into a raisin.
Maybe they got hooked up.
That could be it. Maybe they hooked up Barry Jackass, huh? With himself. Oh, here's a call from Fort Myers. Hello.
Neil Guy.
Yes, sir. Are we on over there?
You're on over here.
All right.
You're on over here.
Well,
they're pulling the same crap over here they're doing over on your coast.
What do you mean?
The sales tax from 6 to 7%. And I got to tell you, half the meatheads that live in this county, they think it's a great idea.
For what? What are they going to do with it? Besides have a party?
No, we just need a few more family members in local government. That's all. A little bit more corruption. You know, price of cars are going up. Anyhow, we love your show.
Thanks a lot, pal.
Thanks for being there.
Say hi to the Beasleys. And tell them that guy up in Jersey still wants his $75. Oh, yeah, you people at the FCC, you can find these people all you want. You can wait till hell freezes over before you get the money. I guess right around whatever next license renewal time would be, maybe right around then, maybe it might be time for them to pay up. 132 at 560 WQAM. By the way, I heard the rumor is that they're going to be making tapes of the show and sending them backwards. Yeah, what's his name? Gonzalo Londoño. He's going to be recording the show and sending them backwards to the FCC to prove that we're backmasking on his show while we're smoking wicked weed.
Oh!
Yeah, we got that bong lit up, singing a song and doing our... Oh, that's right. You know what else rhymes with song and bong? Don't say it.
Ding.
Ding, yeah. The witch is dead. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Boca. Hello. Boca. Oh, well, I'm telling you, this thing is, they're getting hard. Boca, hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Question. I was watching over the weekend. Orlando Cepeda was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yes, sir.
What is this thing with that they vilify him, but they have a guy that was a convicted drug dealer in the...
What is it? This guy's phone crapped down? You have to call me back, pal. I think what he's trying to say is, see, they don't care about drugs, whether you sold drugs, whether you did drugs. The only thing that professional sports cares about is gambling because it makes them look bad. It reflects badly on the game. If you would read that book, Pros and Cons, about the NFL, about all these hoodlums that are playing in the National Football League, it makes it very, very clear that whether it's baseball or football, any professional sport, they really don't give a crap about any of these things. You can beat up your women, you can, do all the drugs and peddle the drugs. They don't give a crap about that. Money laundering. All they care about is if it's a gambling thing. That's why back in the days when Mickey Mantle, I think it was, had like a very minor interest. He had some stock in a casino in Atlantic City. And right away the Major League Baseball stepped in and made him divest himself of that interest because, it's a gambling thing. You see, they pee in their pants if anybody would believe that there's gambling involved. And thank God nobody gambles on Major League Sports. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Two things. First of all, I think that people ought to realize that there's a provision in this thing that says that they can bring the tolls back in 5 years.
Right.
To fund expansion that was already planned.
Correct.
And the second thing is I think you ought to go out and buy a lot of stock in Mastech and Church and Tower because they're going to be making fortunes after Thursday.
You think this is going to pass?
Well, the ghost of Mascanos is out there getting all the dead people.
Yeah, you're right. And they'll probably let Bert Hernandez out for one day, too. Okay, thank you, sir. He's right. Going to have 40,000 dead people vote on Thursday to put it over the top.
Oh!
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Hollywood, hello.
Hello, Leo.
Yes, sir.
Pardon me, I have the flu, so if I sound like I'm dragging it, you'll understand why.
You're dragging it.
Oh, boy, am I dragging it. Anyway, many years ago, when you used to do straight talk, pardon the pun, you had somebody on your show, a local politician. She was a woman. and she was talking about taxes. I think it was when they were trying to put I-95 through. Remember back in those days? And
what do you mean put I-95 through?
Well, it wasn't complete. They were still building sections.
Oh, yeah, they were building up north of the northern part of it, yeah, up north of Fort Pierce or whatever.
Right, right. And she was talking about, well, we need more taxes to put this through. And I know you don't remember the conversation, but I know you got the gist of it. I said to her, well, if the tax base increases because you have more people and you need more roads, you're getting more money, why do you need to increase the tax base? And her answer was, well, for startup. I said, okay, let's take that. So what happens 2 years down the pike after it's paid for? And her answer was, well, you know, it's like a woman getting an allowance from her husband. She gets $50, and the next year she wants more.
It's like the turnpike.
Exactly. The turnpikes and all the toll roads down here were supposed to be paid off years ago.
Right.
And all these cockamamie politicians that come up with the same garbage, which, by the way, happened to me very recently in my local town of Davie, where they increased the rate of $15 a year because they needed more paramedics and they needed more fire engines, because they built a new community with $1 million homes where these people are paying tons of taxes. So what are they raising the tax for? They're getting more taxes.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I mean, after the long, tortured history of lies and abuse and corruption in this town, anybody who's lived here more than 5 minutes who believes the word of the politician, especially this pipsqueak mayor of ours in Dade County, who comes in here and the very first thing he does is lie to the public, gets elected on a totally false premise, and turns around and stabs the public in the back. And I don't care how wonderful it looks down there and how glamorous it looks. The fact is, it's going to cost the taxpayers an arm and a leg to subsidize that place for the rest of the time, for as long as it's there.
Exactly, and the point is that the taxes will never go down, but their tax base increases. And all these people out there, these nuts that are going to vote for it, ask yourself, last time the taxes went up for the same baloney, what happened when everything was paid off? What did they do with the excess money besides stuff?
And you know something, I remember like it was yesterday, the same thing about minorities getting the jobs and all the promises that were made, and the minorities didn't get the jobs then, and they aren't going to get the jobs now, and if they're that stupid that they're going to believe all this bullcrap that's being fed to them by the establishment, then they deserve what they get. I don't care. I live in Broward County. Screw them.
The sad part about it is mostly the minorities are the ones that fall for it.
Yeah,
because they think it's going to do them some good.
Well, so, you know, sooner or later you got to get smart. Have a great day, pal. Feel better. Okay, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Oh, look at the size of that FedEx box. I think that's our $50 million from Ed McMahon. Yeah, in small bills. Hang around, Carlos. We'll share a little with you. Not too much.
I want to bang you in the butt, honey.
My name is Ross Perot. Stand about 5 foot tall and worth about 5 or 6 billion.
Oh!
Never bounced a check, ain't had illicit sex. Ooh, but I'm willing. Before I can declare, won't fix my Gigi hair. Cause I look kind of funny, but both parties ought to know that they're shooting with their dough. Can't bribe a guy with money, cause I got lots of money. So much money, it ain't funny. Why don't you go to sleep, take a chance with me? Cause I ain't so bad. Vote for me! Vote for me! Vote for me, baby! Vote for me! Vote for me, honey! Everybody vote for me.
This announcement paid for by Committee to Elect Ross Perot.
Somebody says, just say to Ross Perot, and goodbye, adios, you're out. Thank God for that. Now, what's Larry going to do for Gestall during that period of time, huh? 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's the mobile in Kendall. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
You know, I've been out today a lot, driving around, and I've gone through the 874, the Don Shula, down by Miami-Dade South, 3 times today. So I've come up, down, and back up again. And I noticed, you know, I'm on these roads all the time. I'm noticing that they had less of the stalls open, I guess you'd call them. Mm-hmm. And I asked one of the toll takers, and she smiled and said, well, they've kind of cut back a little bit this week.
Yeah, this
I'm
week.
thinking, son of a gun, you know, they're just trying to put the
they're doing it overtly. In fact, you remember that weekend, a couple of weekends ago, I remember I came back from my vacation,
Right.
And, I'm going eastbound with my luck. Instead of going the way I usually do, 836 to the Palmetto and the 75, I go eastbound to try to get to 95 from the airport. And here they got the big backup on the road. And I thought, what the? And I see 50 cents. And I had no idea where this came from. Lo and behold, I get on the air next day and find out that this has all been planned. It's all been orchestrated, the timing of it. And they get on, and the mayor gets on the air the next morning and says, oh, well, I hope that the people are frustrated enough that they understand that we're so congested and they'll vote for the penny sales tax. So they're going out of their way to make your life miserable, to try to brainwash you into getting sucked into this penny sales tax.
They might as well just have somebody come up and slash your tires.
Right, that's right.
Toll booth. I mean,
that's right.
It is so frustrating, and to quote, was it Sally Fitz? Why?
Exactly. Just the vote,
why?
Pal.
No.
Okay. 56705. I mean, this is, and of course the media, they're just walking around like they don't understand what's going on. When are we going to have somebody in this town on television or in the newspapers who says something besides Carl Hyacin about 3 times a year when he's not worried about the manatees? I mean, when are we going to have somebody who gets on there and says, take a look at this. This is a disgrace. They're screwing up your life. They're doing this intentionally to try to frustrate you into voting the way that they want you to. Not my imagination, and this guy did what his personal experience. Oh, well, this week they've got the number of booths open cut down so that they can congest traffic as much as possible to get you frustrated. So on Thursday, even against your better judgment, you might go out there and vote like an idiot. That alone should piss. In fact, maybe that's one of the reasons that it turned around so badly between June and July, you know what? That more and more people are getting turned off to their heavy-handed tactics of trying to force them into voting a certain way. You got to keep one thing in mind, that there are a hell of a lot of people out of town. There are a lot of living and breathing people on vacation, won't be here on Thursday, and maybe that isn't so bad after all. Because that'll give those of you who are most highly motivated to just say
no,
an opportunity to go out there and do something and make a difference this time. Here's Cutler Ridge. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Neil.
Yes, sir.
Well, hi. Long-time listener. Yesterday I got home and I looked at the cover of the Miami Herald, the Liván Hernández.
Front page.
The woefully. And right above that, Tony Martin. And I called the Herald, sir, and I spoke to a nice young lady named Jasmine. Probably talked to her for about 10, 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And she was real nice to me. I had her cracking up, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, the things they put on a major market newspaper, the front page splashed all over it.
I mean, I thought it was ridiculous when they put Barry Jackass's column on the front page about this new sports station on 2400 on the AM dial. It's not even on the air yet. But to put a whole front page with a color picture, because this is a major bulletin. First of all, it's been rumored for weeks they were going to trade Liván, number one. Exactly. Number two, nobody's interested in the Marlins anymore. They had 14,000 people for a Saturday game yesterday in the middle of, I think, 5 out of 6 winning streakers. Nobody cares. And to put this on the front page like this is major news?
It's unbelievable. If you went to the local section...
We need some help.
Yeah.
The story there was about Lake Okeechobee, which certainly warranted more news than... It's just ridiculous, Neil. And keep it up. You're great. Love your show.
And God bless us.
Thanks.
Okay. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. And the reason, like I've said before, that this town has deteriorated the way that it has is because there just aren't enough people here who give a damn. That's why it didn't take me too many years. It's a few too many, but it didn't take me too many years before I realized that I was spinning my wheels, wasting my time. I was going blah, 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 doing all of that topical crap with the guests and trying to be a mover and a shaker and making a difference in this town. How can you make a difference when nobody gives a crap? So instead of trying to, make people give a crap, you just come on here and you say
crap.
That's it. And all of a sudden they're all laughing. Hey, he's great. Yeah, like that.
Crap.
Oh, yeah, now they're really into it. La La Land. Why do you think they call it La La Land? Just look at the way the people are driving around you. Look to your left, look to your right, look in front of you, look behind you, look in the rearview mirror. And the odds are that you got at least 4 out of 5 real major assholes driving like they're trying to live up to their identity. God. Every time I make that drive from the airport back home, I see stuff that goes on and I say, oh, how am I going to make it? How am I going to get there and still be alive?